Hello. Hello. I, as a convener of BBD Bag Study Circle, welcome you all in this seminar. We have our speaker, none other than CS Sanjay Bhattacharya ji. For the first session, he will speak on critical issues for assessment year 24-25 in tax audit and income tax return. Our next speaker is Asim Prakash. He will deal with the critical issues with CPC and notice issued on Inside portal. Mr. C.S. Sanjay Bhattacharya, I think everyone knows him, but for a customary, I introduce him. He is a BSc honors in chemistry, LLB, and FCA. Presently, he is practicing as a chartered accountant since 1979. Presently, partner of firm named Sukumar Bhattacharya and Company in Calcutta. So please welcome. I request our past president C.R.K. Vyas ji to please come and felicitate C.S. Sanjay Bhattacharya ji. Aye, sir. Sir, please. Now I recognize our president, Ashok Maheswari ji. Yeah, a token of love from our president, Ashok Maheswari ji. Thank you, sir. Now the session is on the hand of C.A. Sanjay Bhattacharya ji. Sir, please continue.
Before we have our formal discussion to roll out, we will have Saraswati Vandana. Ya kundendu tushar dhabala ya subhravastrabrita ya veena vardandamandit ya sweta padmasana ya brahma chitu sankara pravida devai sada vandita shamam patu Saraswati bhagavati nissesa jadyapaha. Friends, we have today very resourceful person, and particularly with an hereditary character of his most respected, legendary tax practitioner, Sukumar Babu in Calcutta. So we are very fortunate enough that we have got such a learned person for the first time in our own conference hall of BBD Bagh. So we welcome, because it is a Saraswati Mandir, and in all Saraswat programs, just like an interactive sessions on various provisions of tax law, if we find the peoples like him and the most younger one like Asim to discuss with the CPC's problems, we also feel more enlightened up, because it is the dynamics of life, learn, unlearn, and relearn. This is the process of life. So now I hand over the proceedings to Bhattacharya Sir.
Good afternoon, uh, my dear friend Mr. Vash and all the committee members and other members of this study circle. This is not the first time that I have come. This is first time in this hall. Absolutely correct. But earlier also at least 3-4 times I had participated in BBD Bag's programs. Friends, what I have decided for discussion, it should be interactive. I will raise some issues of this tax audit wherever I think that certain discussions are necessary, according to me, including the amendments made from the assessment year 2024-25. But as regards the returns, I will take some time, but mostly if there be any query that I will answer, because there I have not found many things to discuss barring 2 or 3 items. That I will come later on. But let's first start with this tax audit report. Whenever we understand, whenever we see the term tax audit, why we consider that it is only 44 AB? Why not 12 AB also? So according to me, tax audit means any audit which is being required under the Income Tax Act. But still, here we have assembled here only for the tax audit under section 44 AB. 2 or 3 fundamental issues I just want to discuss. Let me ask you one thing. What is the date? What is the due date for furnishing tax audit report? Absolutely correct. What can be the latest date of the auditor's signature? Yes. Huh? No, you have not understood what I've asked. What can be the latest date on which the tax auditor should sign? We know that it has to be furnished by 30th September. But can it be 30th September also? Signature? Why not? Why not? Because that section 44B requires it has to be that tax audit report has to be obtained before the specified date and furnishes by that date. So, the audit report date should never be 30th September. It should be either 29th September or any earlier date. This we should keep in our mind. Number 2, here what I am telling, maybe that you will say that our institute does not say so. I have found during my practice, many a times, many of the chartered accountants also prepare a manual tax audit report and sign it. I don't know under what law that is done. According to me, this is my personal view. Let me say you, it is not that everybody should accept this view. Why should I sign 2 forms for the same purpose? Because there are certain changes. If you find out as per the income tax rules, whatever is there, but when you go here, it will be different. Just for example, I am telling here number 22, what is written, you just see, amount of interest inadmissible under section 23 of the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Act 2006 or the new one, any other amount not allowable under clause H of section 43B of Income Tax Act 61. When you will go to the form, you won't find it in that way. You will find small a is the first portion and second portion is small b. It is not exact copy of this thing. So why should I sign? Nowhere it has been asked of me. But some of us think that that saves us. No. Maybe client, what we see, rule 12. Rule 12 says that this has to be furnished online. And we have to follow that. Yes. There we can put a signature and give it to the client. That is sufficient. Because otherwise, all the things that we are giving, we may give in manual thing, those should be attached here. Because those have got no value. Value is only of that form which is being uploaded. So please keep in your mind and decide yourself whether you should. Yes, for our calculation purposes, when our assistants take this thing, we tell that you do it, you do it. But according to me, we should not sign that. Now coming to the form itself, I'm going, some serial numbers, and also one more thing. This 1, 2, 3, 4, the numbers that are given. What are those? Clauses or their items or their serial numbers? I call them serial numbers. You may ask me why? Our institute says it's a clause. Because whenever the amendments are made there, they make a reference the serial number so and so. So I when I'm talking, I shall say serial number like that thing. But whether you like it or not, you can consider that as a clause. Next thing, before I go to 3CD, in 3CA and 3CB, those are the audit reports. You must have noticed that for last 3-4 years, it is no more true and fair view. It is true and correct. As regards the tax audit particulars that is given in form number 3CD, the tax auditor is telling, in our opinion and to the best of our information and according to the explanations given to us, the particulars given in the said form number 3CD are true and correct, subject to the following observations stroke qualifications, if any. The next thing, this number 5 item in 3CB and number 3 in 3CA also, it may be in 5. There is a box where we can write observations and qualifications. Mind it, it is observations and qualifications. Qualification, we understand that means some adverse remarks. But observations, this is the shield of a chartered accountant. Whenever we are writing all these items of serial numbers 1 to 44, at many places we do test checking, so it should be mentioned here. Then you will find at some places we depend upon the representation made by the auditee. We should write here. Sometimes we write that because of the unavailability of the details we could not. There is a drop down, no doubt about it. In the drop down there is this thing unavailability, but not everything. You will find that in the drop down there at last there is others. So we should use that. This is regarding this form 3CA, 3CB I am talking about. I am going to the form number 3CD, if it can be. You can take it there. I don't need it. I will see from there. About 15 items or serial numbers I will refer to. If there be, when I am talking, if there be any issue, please ask it and we can discuss it more. If not, after that thing, if there is anything more, then subject to the availability of time, we shall discuss this. Hmm. Yeah. No, not 44 AD. What he is talking about, not 44 AD. That is in 44 AB itself. Yes. In cash. See, this is what he has answered. I agree with it. Sometimes there are some compulsions. We have to follow that. And you see, before that, let me give an example. If you have got a client who has got only salaries income, interest income, maybe one house property, no capital gain, no loss, anything else, usually the form should be ITR 1. In many cases, people file form number 2 also. Why? Because they think that more details can be given. You see, when you go through Rule 12, it is written that where form number 1 is not applicable, there the form number 2 will come. So sometimes he is absolutely correct. He is correct because of another reason. If I am not compulsorily required to get my accounts audited under 44AB, then my getting that audited will not save me from the due date of 31st of July. Sometimes one may advise that then you get up to 31st October. No. What? Not on the return. Here will come at number 8. You just see it. Indicate the relevant clause of section 44AB under which the audit has been conducted. So under what you will show there? Yes. Problem that can you do anything which is not being not in accordance with the law? Audit and tax audit are different. See, auditing you can get it done because to have your accounts checked everything. But tax audit is a requirement, specific requirement in case of specified assessees. If the bank insists and you still think that that loan is a must for you, you go ahead. But the chartered accountant is making it, is signing it at risk. I won't say that if I am asked, I will say I
So
won't
this
sign.
is, well, I personally feel this is a very difficult situation for chartered accountant also, and the assessing also, that without funding the company will not continue a proper way, and without, I mean, tax audit, I mean, that support we should give. I mean, this is my personal opinion. Maybe
My personal view, I can only tell that a chartered accountant should not sign a tax audit report where nothing can be written in clause A, serial number 8. They see it may not be possible. So what we advise that take a representation in writing that they would write. Now the question is that if it is less than then there is no tax audit. So why should you ask? Why should you ask? Well, you understand what I am telling? All there is no question here. Now, see that a chartered accountant. See, see the problem is this thing. This fellow will get it done. I'm telling you, and he will not submit it to the income tax department. In and section 139, if you go through 139, it is an old section. If I remember, it is subsection 9, where a return can be considered as defective. One of them is this: if any audit has been done, then that audit report must be submitted. So if you get an audit and don't submit that audit report, then also there is a violation. So many things are there. Uh, you see, this number 8, serial number 8, indicate the relevant clause of section 44AB under which the audit has been conducted. About now, I'm asking you, if a company, limited company, is having turnover of more than 15 crore, and if you are going to do the audit, what will you write? Will you write only clause A? Clause A says that if the turnover is more than 1 crore or 2 crore, or something else you have to write. No, what I want, somebody told third, yes, this is the correct answer. For a company or for a registered society or for a cooperative society where there is a requirement of statutory audit, there this tax audit is being done as per third proviso to section 44AB. It was not there about 4 or 5 years ago in clause A, serial number 8. Now they have put it. Because what that third provision to section 44AB says, it says that if the assessee itself is statutorily required to get its accounts audited, then there are two conditions. One, that audit itself has to be completed by this specified date, and number two, these particulars have to be taken from the tax auditor. So it is third proviso to section. It is already there in the drop down. It was not there about 4 or 5 years back. Coming to 8 small a, you see these are the wherever oh, that that has that has been omitted here. 8 small a, I don't know why it is not coming. Huh? Huh? No, it is not old one, but in 22 they have made the answer, but I think for putting 22b they have omitted 8a. Whatever it is, that 8 small a, it has been there from earlier, from last 2 3 years. Those are where they are asking whether that particular SSC has exercised option under those relaxation clauses, 115 B, AA, B, A, C, and all these things. Now, you know that those options, if exercised in 1 year, then that continue for the subsequent year. Now, when you are going to audit for the first time, this one for assessment year 2024-25, any client, and if you ask, have you exercised your option? And if he says, sir, we will, because we have been given time up to 31st of October. But your tax audit is to be completed and report has to be given by, say, 29th September. Will you believe his words and write here yes? So, what should be done? Here, if we write yes, we should write it only on the basis of the written representation. Here it is. On the basis of the written representation from the auditee, that we are going to opt for this thing by filing form number 10 IC, if I remember the form number 10 IC by this. Then only you should write here yes, otherwise you should. And in the observation, you should write this. Again, serial number 8A, on the basis of the undertaking given by the auditee, we have reported this as yes. These are, to save our skins. Now, truly confess one thing. I am asking everybody. I am going to number 9 small b. If it is a farm, if the tax audit is being done of a farm, do we ask for the copy of the amended partnership deed, if any? How many of us check it? I never check it. I admit it. I think most of the people we don't. We just hear it. Or we see the profit and loss account, what is the percentage, we take it for granted. Please have a look over it. Please have a look over it always. No, no, maybe I am not the auditing, tax auditing, return preparation, even the preparation of the accounts also are done by the same person. But we can't admit it in front of everyone. But whatever it is, I am coming to 11 small a. Whether books of account are prescribed under section 44 AA EPS, list of books are prescribed. For a limited company, what should we write? Yes or no? Why? They have asked if it is prescribed under rule section 44 AA. Section 44A, on the basis in pursuance of section 44A, only for the profession 6E or 6A. 6A. So it should be no. But many cases we have found out that it is being written yes. Then 11 small c. I am reading it out. List of books of account and nature of relevant documents examined. Don't write anything against it till you complete your checking up to number 44. Why I am telling you? What is being asked? That what types of books you have examined and what were the nature of the documents you have examined. Now, when you complete up to 44, then from the reports that have been generated by us, we can easily find out that what types of documents should have been checked. Whether we have checked it or not, that's a different thing. So there we come to know that these documents should have been checked to write to report it. This thing. I'm giving you 2 or 3 examples. At serial number 32, it has been asked that what is no need to go there. At serial number 32, it has been asked what is the brought forward loss. How can you find out what is the brought forward loss as per the Income Tax Act if you don't go through the return of income or the assessment order? It is not possible. Those are not books of accounts. When you write at 20 small b, what are the due dates of PF contributions of the employees and when you deposited, you must have gone through the PF register. There are so many items like this thing. So after you complete 44 items, then you find out which books, which documents should have been checked and it should be deemed to have been checked. Then you write here. Coming to, yes, yes, they have asked the nature of document. So we have provident fund contributions. According to me, it is a list of books maintained and see here, list of books of account and nature of relevant documents. You can write that PF contributions we have checked. Maybe that you won't specify what is the name of that register, but for brought forward losses as per the income tax or unobserved depreciation, without going through the returns of income, latest return of income or the latest assessment order, nobody can write that. Then for big companies, these loans, yes, you can write. You can write like TDS. When you are writing the TDS, there one place you have to write that whether these quarterly statements have duly been filed or not, which we popularly call as TDS returns. So if I don't see that thing, so this is also one of the documents. So those things, after we complete 44 items, then those lists should be given here. Yes. You can make an attempt. See, you can make an attempt like that thing. Everything can be written like that thing, etc., etc. But when they are writing nature of relevant document, how can you write etc.? I don't know. What they have asked, you see, nature of the documents. This thing has come only 4 or 5 years back. It had not been there earlier. I'm going to 13 DEF. 13 DEF. Now these are regarding ICDS. I don't want to start a lecture on ICDS here. Then up to 10 o'clock I will go. But here what I just want to see that when they have asked at E that whether there is any plus or minus, be careful in writing. And in F, this is very important. Disclosure as per ICDS down below. You see, out of the 10 ICDS, they have asked for 8. 2 they have left out. Now, if you open the ICDS, you will find that in bold letters it is written that what are to be disclosed. So please check that only then write it in the shortest way possible, no doubt about it. But don't leave these blank. If it is a mercantile maintained accounts, because for a cash basis accounts, you know that there is no requirement of ICDS. See, you may have also experienced that when these 142.1 notices are coming, just closing the eyes, they write why ICDS adjustment have not been reported. They don't look that they don't look at what the tax auditor has written here. There we have to answer. I think when you will talk to you, you will say we have to answer that as per the tax audit report. Also, there was no requirement. Uh, Item number serial number 16. See, I also utter item, but it is serial number 16. See, it looks very easy thing. Amounts not credited to the profit and loss account. See, the tax auditor is being asked that what types of amounts have not been reported in profit and loss account, which according to him, those should have been there. Now you see, there is no problem. The problems comes for D and E. Any other item of income and capital receipt APG. So we have to be very careful. How can we be sure about it? Only from the balance sheet. That wherever there is any item in the liability side, we have to check that whether that should have found a place in the profit and loss account. Here I am giving you an example regarding this capital receipt. You tell me any receipt, can it be of any other nature than revenue and capital? Is there anything else? According to me, no. Either it is a revenue one or capital one. Revenue one should go to profit and loss account. Now here I am not in agreement with our ICI guidelines. According to me, if there is a loan receipt, that also should be written. If there is a share capital issue, that should also be written. Because those are not finding places in the profit and loss account because they are considered as capital receipts. They have only asked that is there any capital receipt which has not been debited, credited to the profit and loss account? We should report it.
He will open a pandora box.
Ah.
I mean, sir, the intent of the audit report we have to understand that the intent of audit report is to give our findings in the capacity of CA, which will enable the department to find out the revenue leakage from the revenue perspective. That is the main mindset of this report. So there is no point in giving information which should be irrelevant from the revenue perspective, that because this is already a balance sheet item and there is no revenue leakage in that.
According to you,
In my opinion.
that's why they are asking that which one you are considering that because it is a capital receipt has not found place in profit and loss account. If you write it nil and there is issue of share capital, there is loan receipt. So according to me, this is a professional negligence on the part of the tax auditor in not writing anything there. That they are asking that this has not found place in the profit and loss account because it's a capital receipt. And so they are asking you, right? And so the income tax department can see that which items have been considered as capital receipts, out of which they may think that something is not capital but revenue. Capital subsidies, of course. No,
143 intimation, straight away they are adding this column. Whatever.
no. I have not found any case there where it is written. If it is written in D, then it is gone. It is any other income. देखिए हम इसको ये बोलते हैं कि वहां पर जो क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है that if there why it has not been credited, because according to tax auditor it is a capital receipt. That's why they are asking. They have not asked whether that should have gone to profit and loss account.
Normally, subsidy
हाँ सब्सिडी तो देनी ही पड़ेगा आपको, सब्सिडी तो देनी ही पड़ेगा. See here, there you can make in the observations. You can always write instead of writing here that you can always write the loan receipts and share issue receipts have not been reported here, but those are reflected somewhere else. Yes. In number 18, that is the depreciation schedule, they have made some change, but that is because of this 115 BAC, 115 BAD. You know that wherever there is a relaxed rate, there is brought forward, this WDB has to be adjusted. That thing they have asked only. Number 19. This number 19, if I have gone through 300 tax audit report, if I have gone through 300 tax audit report, In 90% of them, I have found this as nil. But what is the significance of why this is asked? We have to understand. These sections, if you consider, you will find these are the sections where whatever amount has been debited to the profit and loss account, the deduction is varied from there, either more or less. Like scientific research expenditure, which used to be there, now it is no more, 150%. Then VRS, voluntary retirement scheme. If a company pays 5 crore of rupees, will he get 5 crore deduction in the very first year? What is the law? Section 35 DDA says, see, there is 35 DDA. The 35 DDA is also there. What happens if assessment year 2023-24, 5 crores of rupees are paid? Then as per section 35 DDA, the company will claim deduction for 1 crore. In the second year, another 1 crore. But will there be any debit in the profit and loss account? That they want to. And then 35D, preliminary expenses, they are also 20%. See, these are, now those 35 have lost its significance. But most of the cases, you will find that the requirement is this, that whatever amount is debited to the profit and loss account and whatever amount is being claimed in the return, there is a difference. So unless the tax auditor certifies or reports it, the assessee will not be allowed that deduction. Coming to 20 small b, details of contributions received from employees for various funds as referred to in 36(1)(5)(a). Everybody knows the checkmate decision of Supreme Court that if you don't pay, don't deposit it within the due date, it is gone forever. Let me ask. Everybody writes 15, 15, 15 due date. For July, what should be the date? Due date? This is the correct answer. This is the correct answer. That's why I am asking. आप लोग तो सभी 15 माना के में दे देता है. He is absolutely correct. This is the first time that I have heard that someone is correctly telling. But not only the 16th August only. I must say that if it falls on a Sunday also, we should give the Monday's date, because under the General Clauses Act, as also circulated by the Income Tax Department, that if the due date falls on a public holiday, then the next working day, if you deposit or whatever, if you file something, it will be considered as having been done. So be careful. Don't just write. Just look through the calendar once. For 15th August, everybody will remember. But for all other 11 months, also please keep in your mind. See, problem, no. That is the reason why CBDT issues a notification every year, if it is on a Sunday, that our offices will be kept open. And it comes out in the paper. Yes, there we can't get away. That is a different thing. That is very different. That is different. For TDS payments, I'm telling you, for TDS payment, due date is 7th. It's now 7th is a Sunday. The department says that Sunday to you can do it. But why should I? From my bed, why should I do that thing? Only in the office I will do. So if it's a public holiday, if it's a public holiday, I should consider the due date to be only the next day, working day next to the public holiday. Only for public holiday I'm talking about. I'm not talking of Saturday or any other holiday. But those 3 national holidays and also of this. Now, friends, in this Form 3CD, you must have noticed over the years that 2 types of informations are being asked. One is just for information by way of reporting. Another is calculating what is the inadmissible amount, and that should be reported by the tax auditor. Most of those are in this serial number 21. Now in 21A, just I am reading it out. Please furnish the details of amount debited to the profit and loss account, being in the nature of capital, personal, advertisement, expenditure, etc. For and up to the assessment year 2017-18, the first portion, please furnish the details of amount debited to the profit and loss account, was only written against 21. Thereafter, it had been A, being in the nature of capital, personal, advertisement, expenditure, then B, C, D, or no. So what we understood at that time, that all the A, B, C, D, which used to be given under 21, only to be reported if it has been debited to the profit and loss account. From 2018-19, they have changed it. Now only for 21A, they are asking if it is debited to the profit and loss account. For others, they are not asking. And because of that, some of us, when they saw in the notes to the account there is a contingent liability, they report it at 21G. And you know the result, addition. So we should be very careful. Like what I advise, that if there is a contingent, when I will come to 21G, I would have told you, but let me tell you now. In 21G, I write 0. But if I have noted, I have seen that in the notes to account, there is something, I give it in the observation. There is a, as per the notes to account, I write like this, as per the notes to account, there is a contingent liability of so much, which was not debited to the profit and loss account and so not reported there. Now in 21, this personal expenditure is there. We just write it 0. But do you check that whether that particular assessee itself or himself or herself offers something as personal expenditure for disallowance? Or in the assessment made, certain disallowances have been made which are not being appealed against? If not, then why should we write here 0? If I find the assessee himself, the assessee company itself is offering 10% motor car expenses, 10% telephone expenses as disallowable, how can so how can I write here 0? They will say in the return this is being offered and you are telling there is nothing. So be careful. You ask the auditee that when you are doing it, I have to write it here. Then comes down below, please come. Expenditure incurred at clubs being entrance fees and subscription. Whenever we find club fees, we write here. But should we? What is the heading in 21A? Only personal expenses are to be written. The moment I write the club expenses here, that means it is disallowable. So what should we do? What I do, I can say, I put here 0. In the observations, I write, club expenses were incurred for so much, which are being claimed by the auditee or assessee, whatever you write, as wholly and exclusively incurred for the purpose of business. We should save our skin, because the tax auditor is at a very dangerous position. Because what we are doing here, it is on behalf of the income tax department actually. Here they have made a change. Down below, if you kindly go. Yeah, just go up a bit. See, no. Expenditure by way of penalty, then expenditure by way of other penalty. Then there is another one. There should be. Here it is written, it is the old one. It is written expenditure incurred for any purpose which is an offense or which is prohibited by law. It is changed. The language is this. Expenditure incurred to provide any benefit or perquisite in whatever form to a person, whether or not carrying on a business or exercising a profession. And, mind it, and is a very important word here. and acceptance of such benefit or perquisite by such person is in violation of any law or rule or regulation or guideline as the case may be for the time being in force governing the conduct of such person. You are aware of that 28 Roman 4 and TDS section 194R. Those are to be here. Even any bribe given to the income tax department also should come here. That should also come here. But actually, you know that because of the medical council guidelines, this presentation of gifts to by the medical shops to the doctors to private, that thing they brought that clause in 28 Roman 4 and this 194 R came. So this is not the current one. So please see in the form the language has been changed. Then comes 21 small b. Amounts inadmissible under section 40 small a. Please don't write it. Here they are what they are asking how the expenses incurred. When you will be doing that medicine shop, then the question comes. This is for the expenditure. Ah, because of that offer by the income, offer by the doctor, that party who has paid that may be held. Uh, Amounts inadmissible under 40 clause A, that is for the TDS defaults. Don't try to write it first. First complete serial number 34, then you come back here. Because in many cases, I have also observed, maybe that you have also observed, that we have written here nil, that no inadmissible. But when you are writing in 34, there we are writing this is short deduction, non-deposit, and all these things. So first ascertain that thing, then you come back here and write it here. This is the only place in the form 3CD where a cross matching is there in the form itself. Otherwise, there is no item for which here you write one thing and that is to be proved anywhere. But this is the item, and you know that serial number 34. It used to be the practice of the income tax department to take a copy of that and to send that to the TDS assessing authority. And whether they are still doing it or not, that I don't know. But that had been the practice. So after 21B, I am going to 21B there, you know, after completing form number 34, you can write the details that wherever there have been some default that you have to write there. In 21 small c, see this is regarding partnership firm. When we are doing tax audit of partnership firm, what the question? We must see the question first. See, amounts debited to profit and loss account being interest, salary, bonus, commission, or remuneration, then what is written there? Inadmissible under 40. So only if there is something inadmissible, we have to write here. If something, if everything is to be allowed, we are not supposed to write anything here. Then D, disallowance deemed income under 48(3). That means more than 10,000 rupees payment otherwise than by accounting. This is a very difficult thing we all do only by test checking. So in the observation, we must write that because of the vastness of vouchers and supportings, we have carried out test checking. On the basis of that, we have reported. Only one thing I would say. Please ask for the bank statements and see whether it is the practice of that bank to write CSH and CLG. That means whenever there is a bearer check, they write CSH, and whenever there is an account pay check, that's CLG. So that if the practice is of writing CSH, then you have to take care that unless it is a cash withdrawal, then whether that is a payment shown as expenditure. Then there, you know that this is a very tiresome job, no doubt about it. That we have to many a times we have to consult what is in Rule 6DD, whether there is bank facility was available when the payments were made. So this is a very careful thing.
some people have some practice that a bill of 15,000 is in 10, 7,000, this day, 7,000.
See, it is on the same day it cannot be made. But I will take another. But if it is shown that it is for the same expenditure, then the problem may arise. It should be. They should break up. They should break up. That much I understand. I know, but the court decision that have come, it is whether on a single payment, on a single day it has been payment. But expenditure, if it is 15,000, there is every possibility that income tax department say that for 15,000 you have made like that. See. But still I am telling, the criteria is whether on a single day more than 10,000 payment has been made to that person. Then make it as advance payment first one.
Good idea. बाद में मत कीजिए, पहले दे दीजिए। 15,000 आया ना, पहले दिन 5,000 दे दीजिए एडवांस,
21 small e. 21 small e. See, the query is this. Provision for payment of gratuity not allowable under section 40A clause 7. We know that no provision for gratuity is allowable except in two cases, where the provision has been made for the persons retiring on 31st of March, or the provision has been made for payment of contribution to approved gratuity fund. Otherwise, it is disallowable. If we write the figure here, then when you go to serial number 26, where 43B details are given, there also it is required whether gratuity payment is unpaid. So if I write it here and then again there, what will happen? You can understand there will be double disallowance. But as per the law, if there is a provision, then we have to write here. But that creates difficulty. So what I suggest, whether you do it or not, that you have to think. That don't write it here. You write only in 43B that this is to be disallowed. Because that will give the scope to that assessee that when they will make the payment, they can claim it. Otherwise, they won't be able to claim that expenditure. The prior period, that is an allergic word. I will come to that. So, provision for gratuity, highlight. तो आपको आप ले लीजिए ये हम ले लेता नहीं ये तो इन्होंने नहीं लेंगे. I will take another 15 minutes. Now in small g, this was the one which I made reference earlier. Particulars of any liability of a contingent nature, please put 0 only there. And if you find that in the notes of account, notes to account, there is any noting of contingent liability, report there. But writing here means disallowance. Then I am I have also seen it. I have also seen it. Okay, I am telling you. I am telling you. I think let me interrupt here because that revision what came, which I should have talked at beginning. Can a tax audit report be revised? I am asking you, as per the law, there are only two clauses. As per Rule 6G3, only in cases where certain payments of TDS have been made after the tax audit or some 43B payments. When in an act or rules, it is written that there you can do it, that means that otherwise you cannot do it. But still we revise and the department accepts. Why? Because in the form when you open, we find their original revised option is given. It is just our luck that they accept it. There is nowhere it is mentioned that a tax audit report can be revised. Huh? No, I am telling you, we are doing, it is being accepted. But on a particular day, they may come with this thing. How? Let me give give a reference. Why I am telling that sometimes they wake up, though it has got no connection to the tax audit. Anyone is having any client of recognized provident fund? If the recognition had been obtained before March 2006, no new application was filed for recognition after 2006. That's correct, but you have told no. You know, wherever they are finding it, they are just de-recognizing the provident fund. This is a very serious thing. I'm telling you. Please, that they allowed earlier, but now whenever they are finding, because what is happening, let me tell you, from the insight report and all these things which you will discuss, they are finding some deposits, interest have been paid to provident fund. Then they are issuing notice under 148A(b), asking that thing. In one of my clients' case, they came, they told, we are recognized, and we wrote it. And then what happened? They wrote like this, and there I found it. The income tax department wrote that since the original recognition was earlier to 2006, and thereafter it was not renewed, so the recognition is no validity. Now they are running what to do. Yeah? What? But this is more dangerous, because it is when the provident fund recognition goes away, that way all the employees suffer. This is a dangerous thing.
But the courts will ultimately give it in your favor because whatever has been consistently accepted by the department, legally they cannot deny it. Because I mean, several high courts have also taken this stand that if something has been consistently accepted by the department and if they come upon a certain deviation,
Do you think that everybody is capable of going to High Court? Ah, that cost you think. If you think of big companies who are having lakhs of crores of rupees, but a company is having 5 lakhs or maybe 1 crore, they are not thinking, they have no separate staff for provident fund also. नहीं है कुछ. हाँ. So if anyone has got any client who is having recognized provident fund, please go and check. ना ना आपको तो बोला, आप देख लीजिए. हाँ बोलिए, somebody. पॉइंट नंबर, एक सेकंड, क्या? प्रोविजन नहीं, प्रोविजन फॉर ग्रेचुइटी में आप लिखेंगे तो डिसअलाउड हो जाएगा. फिर 43B में लिखेंगे वो भी डिसअलाउड होगा. वही हम बोला, इसलिए हम बोला that legally we should write here only, but if we write here we don't have any scope for claiming when the payment is made. That's why I am telling that don't write it here. You write it in the disallowance under 43B, so that when the payment will be made you can claim it. That is the practical thing I am telling. Legally I know that it has to be written here, but here you won't get the chance to get the deduction when the payment will be made. That's why it should be in serial number 26. आप डेट को अंदर देंगे तो क्या दिक्कत होगा? नहीं, आप डेट को अंदर जितना बात होता है उतना होता है, तो 31 मार्च के अंदर दिया कि नहीं, दैट यू हैव टू सी. Item number 22, 20, 21 small I, yes, small I. Amount inadmissible under provision to section 36(1)(3). This 36(1)(3) is what? It says that interest on monies borrowed for business purposes will be allowed. Then there is a provision that they are mentioning this amount inadmissible under the provision to section 13. What is that provision? That if the loan had been taken for acquisition of asset, then the interest payable for the date prior to putting to use that machine will be disallowed. So here only that interest should be written, not interest on TDS or interest on income tax, which is disallowable. So be careful. Here only that amount is to be written. Whatever it is, it has to be written only here. Then I am coming to 22. Now you see, here that old one is written only. Amount of interest inadmissible under section 23 of MSME Act. You know that this is the only section of disallowance which is done by an act other than income tax. Whatever interest is paid, which is 3 times SBI, that is always disallowable. Now we always ask we are supposed to ask the auditee that if you have got any MSME vendor, then whether any interest is paid. Now this 22 has been broken up. 22 small a is that. And what is 22 small b? The language is this. Any other amount not allowable under clause H of section 43B of Income Tax Act 1961. See, all 43B items are in serial number 26, but this is separate. You will understand why it is separate. The reason is that whatever are there in 43B, in all those cases, if the payments are made within the due date for filing of the return, that is still allowed, but not this. That's why here the tax auditor has to find out what I always advise. I have advised my assistant that whatever is the outstanding amount as on 31st of March, check whether those are in relation to any goods delivered before 14th of February. That means 45 days are covered. Then there will be disallowance. If the goods are delivered on 28th of March and the payment is made on 7th of April, no problem, because it is within 15 days, or if it is the time is given, then up within 45 days. So we should be very careful about it. Yes.
Tax auditor, there is no interest dated, but there were delays for the payment to the vendors. So,
22A you won't do anything because no interest debited. But 22B you have to. 22A. Bolo?
In observation, sir, I guess what you were saying, you can say that interest was not computed and it has
You can give, but I won't advise. Because I follow one thing. What is not asked should never be answered. Never on your own give some information. But the question that you have asked, according to me, for 22 small a, that the first portion, that is which is not in italics, I will write 0. Because what that amount of interest inadmissible, there is nothing inadmissible because interest has not been paid. When they will pay, that is the question. But the second portion I am supposed to give. If there is a, first of all, as the tax auditor, I must be sure that it is a small or micro. Then only the question comes. Otherwise not. It is not for medium. While for the interest it is medium, small, micro, but for this payment it is only small and micro. This is a new one. Yes. Uh, 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 should only come. No, see, 31st March due, it is not that. If the goods delivered, that is the day to be considered. If it is on 28th of March, then 28th of March, 15 days, or if it is allowed, this time is given 60 days, 40 days, or 60 days or 80 days, but it is limited to 45 days. So if 45 days have already been over, then it should be disallowed. If the debit has been made in the account, if no debit has been made in the account, then why should there be disallowed? How do you know that it's a micro or small? No, no. My question is this thing. The SSC must be provided by that vendor that they are micro or small. Then only this question comes. And when that details are there and tax auditor has asked the auditee that whether these vendors are micro or small, and if he gives in writing there is no micro or small, then you don't have any responsibility. You are not going to check that whoever the vendors of the whole year, whether they are micro or small. See, only thing is this, only that what is due as on 31st of March, you have to check. Now, how the tax auditor has come to know there had been a bill which was torn off and that. It is not the duty of tax auditor. Tax auditor will see that whatever bill is there. The bill on the basis of which the entry has been passed, that the tax auditor. Tax auditor is not going from Lalbazar police station. Tax auditor is to see what records are there. Why should I take the responsibility of that? Now the point is this. You may have read in the paper that those MSME people, they have approached the Ministry of Finance that because of this thing we are not getting jobs. So, so maybe that it will go. Maybe it will be withdrawn. Maybe it will be withdrawn because this has not helped them, but this has gone against them. Yes, that's why he is telling that they're cutting it and all these things. But in any case, this is a new item. This is the out of these 11 or 12 items, 11 or 12 amendments that have been made. This is the most important one. There are thereafter, this number 23. Particulars of payments made to persons specified under section 48(2)(b). If it is a company, please go through the notes and accounts and the details given to the relative persons. Without going, only please check that thing. Number one. And if it is a partnership fund, please check that remuneration, interest, or whatever has been paid, those are reported here. Here, particulars of payments means we understand that what has been debited to the profit and loss account. Here, payments include the accruals. What he is telling, I also agree with that thing. Whatever is coming in the profit and loss account, if it is, yes, correct, absolutely. Then number 25. Here also we should be very careful. Any amount of profit chargeable to tax under section 41 and computation thereof. Everybody knows what is 41. Just 1 minute I am telling that if any expenditure has been allowed in any earlier year on mercantile basis, this year there is a cessation of any portion thereof, then it will be my income. Now in the profit and loss account, we find so many times liabilities no longer required written back. It is already credited to the profit and loss account. The problem arises with the CPC test, that if I find that 100 rupees are there, and I am finding that out of 100 rupees, say 80 rupees have not been allowed earlier, so 20 rupees are my income, 20 rupees should be offered as income. So I write here 20 rupees. What the CPC will do? CPC will add that 20. This is a practical problem I am telling. I don't know whether you have faced it. So I have got a formula. I have done that for Hindustan Copper. Because there what happened, some crores of rupees were there. Out of that thing, 80% were there which had not been allowed earlier. Provision for bad dates written back and all these things. only 20%. So what the tax auditor did, he wrote that 20% what is to be added. And what the CPC did, CPC has fully added. Then I had explained them that it was, say, 5 crores of rupees, out of which 1 crore was to be taxed. And so 4 crores were claimed as reduction, but that was not sufficient. So what I have formulated to them, henceforth when I will prepare your return, I will first reduce the entire 5 crores, thereafter I will offer 1 crore. In Bengali there is a word, Jamon kukur temni mugur. You know the meaning, that seeing what type of action you do. So we have to take it. See, the machine at CPC won't understand it. They will just see it is to be added where the addition has been made. So what to do? Make it reduction and then add it. They will be happy. Then comes number 26. Friends, this is a very important issue, this 43B. See, 43BH is not there. But one thing, because according to me, some of us, without understanding the bifurcation given here, write the figures. There are two portions. Capital A is for the relief of the assessee. Capital B is for the disallowance. In A, we have to write what had been the disallowance at the beginning of the year. If any payment has been made during the financial year, not before the due date, mind it, then deduction will be allowed. If it is not written, that deduction will not be given to the assessee. And the second portion is for the disallowance to be made. So here we have to be very careful about it. Uh, this 27 small b, the, uh, not option, not option. In bracket there is a question that whether indirect taxes duties have been passed through profit and loss account. Do you know why they are asking it? Because the sales tax, VAT or GST, most of the people, what they do, they open a liability account without going to the profit and loss account, and when they collect it, they credit it to the liability account and they pay it. But those are covered under 43B. That they want to understand that whether it has been passed through. If it is passed through, it will come that how much has been credited, how much has been debited. But if it is in the liability account, then they will ask for the details. Huh? Yes. There is no crime in it. But only thing is that you have to keep in your mind that if it has been put to liability account, then that has been paid before the due date. Otherwise, that has to be disallowed. This is the reason for this. Yes, everything. Everything. Because as he has correctly told, there had been a Supreme Court decision of Chodungi Sales Bureau, where it has been written that all taxes that are recovered are part of turnover. Now the GST is totally a new set of accounting experts. They input generated separately and created and output is debited and balance is paid or kept in balance is participated. So certain changes are there. But still, when you collect GST, like in our bill, in the bills that we raise, we write fees in the profit and loss account. Fees, then we write GST recovered. We don't write GST collected. We write GST recovered because the moment I raise the bill, I have a liability of the GST, and after the payment is coming, then I call it recovery. So I write it like that. If 50,000 is my fees, I write 50,000. If GST recovery is 6,000, I write GST 6,000, then 56,000. And on the payment side, debit side, I write whatever I am paying. So there is no problem. My tax auditor always writes it is passed through profit and loss account. But if he writes that it is not through profit and loss account, the income tax department, if they want, if they understand what is the meaning of this thing, luckily they don't understand, most of them, that that here they will check whether there is a liability which has not been paid within the due date. That is the reason. Now I am going this prior period, sorry, 27 small b. Particulars of income or expenditure of prior period credited or debited, 5 minutes, credited or debited to profit and loss account. What is prior period? Is it that anything relating to earlier year? I'm asking you. No, it is not. It is only if there had been some error committed and that has been corrected this year, that is prior period. If on today, today being 13th of July, some decision is taken that for the financial year 22, 23 and 23, 24, staff will be paid this much increment all this. This is not prior period. The liability has been crystallized this year, but in the accounts, because of us, some of us consider that to be prior period. That's why these problems arise. Because wherever, whatever amount will be written here, that will be straightway disallowed by them. Because they tell that you are following mercantile system work. Because if in a cash system, there is no question of prior period. So be careful. If you remember in the branch statutory audit report earlier, because I used to do that also about 15 years back, they used to write what are prior period. And also income tax department by way of their circular, they clarified only errors of omission or commission, not others. If I have received the bill only in July and already my accounts have been finalized for the last year, how can I enter there? But I must have the details to show that this has been given to me only now. That's why it is done. So be careful before you write this particular of income and expenditure. Now the funny thing is this: if it is credited, it is always income. If it is debited, it is disallowable. So be careful about it. Uh, I am not going into details for this section 56 because I don't think that these have got any connection with this, but still we are asked that if there is a purchase of building or sale of building or purchase of shares and share of share, so we should ask the SSE that give us in writing that there is nothing like that thing, because otherwise we won't be able, and if we don't get any representation from them, please write in the observation the unavailability of the figures. We could not report anything because of unavailability of the figures. Friends, I am coming to this loan 31. Just one thing. I am just reading out what is written there. Just 31 starting. Just just reading it out, then so you are. Particulars of each loan or deposit in an amount exceeding the limit specified in section 269 SS taken or accepted during the year. You know the limit is 20,000 and that 20,000 is not per year. 20,000 is over the period. That means if I have taken loan from him 19,000 last year, this year I am going to take 1100, then that has to be by account paycheck. There is no connection of this year. Now they have asked for each loan. Don't think that here only where there is a violation that is to be reported. So as an auditor, what should I do? I must compare with the last year's balance sheet whether there is any movement in between the loans. Please don't forget it. If we don't write here anything without checking that thing, that will be a professional negligence. Both loans accepted, loans repaid, or advances, specified advances received. We must see the balance sheet and compare it whether there has been any movement in those figures. The last item that I just want to, oh, sorry, this 32 small a that I told at the beginning, that is from the income tax, return of income or the assessment order. You please check whether there is any loss brought forward at the beginning of the year. Mind it. Details of brought forward loss and depreciation allowance in the following manner to the extent possible. You see what is the position at the beginning of the year, that is to be given, not at the end of the year. And last item that I just want to say, sorry, not last, there's 33. Section-wise details of deductions, if any, admissible under Chapter 6A or Chapter 3. I am doing the audit of business or profession. Why should I bother whether that person, if it is an individual's account, whether he is entitled under the old regime 80C or 80G? So if I find out that any business or professional income only in relation to that, like 80IA, 80JJAA, if there is any deductions available, only that to be reported. And in the observation, I must write that there being no deduction claimable under Chapter 6A or Chapter 3 in relation to the business income, professional income, reporting has been made at nil. Huh. No, according to me, we should not. Though in the drop down you will find that.
Besides the property part, the associate has taken loan, his own name, and he has paid interest also. Whether he shall have to, if there is a tax and because 194 is applicable to individual as well as property.
194A.
And 194 is another interest.
Huh.
TDS on interest. 194
No. You were talking about TDS. So I have not come to the TDS. Now I am coming. Then you ask the question. In 34, they are asking that whether. Huh? Corporate issue concern. Through it. So are you showing that as personal expenses? Why not? No. First you answer me this. If in the accounts of the business, LIC has been debited, that is nothing but personal expense. So there, have you disallowed it under 21 small a? My question, you have just now told that the proprietor has paid life insurance premium from his business and that has been debited to the profit and loss account. Is it allowable? It's a personal expense. So you have disallowed that. You must have disallowed. Now, there may be, if the assessee insists, you can write that he will be entitled to 80C. There is no doubt about it. But first you disallow it in the business computation. So to get a benefit at one place, you may lose much more at other place. Only 80 IA what used to be there or 80 IB. See, here I am doing only business. So better let me be clarified. Let the tax auditor be safe. In the observation, he will write that there being no deduction allowable in relation to the business or professional income, reporting has been done at nil. And in 34A, whether the assessee is required to deduct or collect tax. Now here you must have found that all the expenses that are debited to, barring only some, everything is attracting TDS. Now here all the items as appearing in the profit and loss account have to be reported. Problems arise in case of 194C. Why? Because 192 only salary, 194H only commission, 194I the rent, 194J there are 2 or 3 royalty provision, but 194C may be transport charges, 194C may be repairs maintenance, 194C may be annual maintenance contract, so many things. So be careful about that. Those figures which are appearing in the profit and loss account, those are rightly reported here, and you know that there should not be any difference between 4 and 5. Only between 4 and 5 if there be difference, and if that difference is because of some concessional rate of TDS, no problem. But otherwise that means there is a short deduction. That's why I told that after you complete this thing, then you go back to 21 small b. You are asking something about this. Yes, you are asking TDS. See, the tax audit is to be done for the business purposes. So according to me, it is only if there are three businesses, make a consolidation of it. But in that business, you should not mix up. If it is mixed up, then you have to check them separately. This is my only view.
Then includes compatible measure individual. Suppose the person has taken loan in individual capacity also. Whether it's
Loan in individual capacity in relation to the business? No, 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 no. No, no, whatever it is. That. No, no, no. See, the interest, if you want the deductibility of interest under the income tax laws, there has to be TDS. If that interest is not claimed, the question of TDS will not arise. But, I am putting a but if that person, since that person is under tax audit, he might be held responsible or he might be held punishable under the TDS provisions, but not from the normal income tax. There will not be any question of disallowance under 40 clause A. Because 40 clause A applies for those expenses which are being claimed for as deductible, but in respect of which the required TDS has not been made. So it has to be checked on that basis only. Friends, whatever I thought about a tax audit, if there be any issue, you can. See, it depends upon only the assessee. If the assessee gives us a chart, I don't have to do the reconciliation. The assessee has to give a chart that I have spent 10 crores of rupees. These are relating to GST. These are not relating. If they don't give, I just write that required details were not handed over. Take the risk. This has to be given because I can't take that risk.
But I think no one can defend this.
No, that's another thing.
I purchased some goods from a person who was in the compulsory scheme on 31st December. On 31st March, when I reported, he has become a regular taxpayer. So how I can
see this is a,
it is something beyond. It cannot be done. It cannot be done.
What? So that is unavailability you have to write.
Unless each and every item is scrutinized, here it is not practically.
I won't say nil. Here you have to write nil, but in the observation you will write, and there is a in the drop down there is a because of unavailability of the figures. Why should a chartered accountant should take that responsibility on his shoulder? Never he should. No, it has to be. And I have not understood the meaning of this because the GST does not want it. There is no meaning.
It does not serve any purpose.
I am telling you, without understanding that thing, it has. Whatever. See, the way that you are telling, you are defending the SSC. I am not telling what to defend the SSC. I will say the relevant particulars have not been made available to us. This is my comment. Why should I defend him? Relevant particulars they have not maintained, so I can't. Because unless I have been given, otherwise I have to check the entire expenditure to find out whether there was a GST or not and all these things. That is not possible. Yes. Ha.
Because now one of the cases there's a bank doing the pharmaceutical medicine. So there are like 10,000 items in the books of the bottle, the packets,
Correct.
So it is not possible to pick all the items. So
they don't want also.
They don't want it.
Three items. Three items you will get. I have been doing a tax audit of a petrol pump, which is also doing car repair services. I just give their petrol, diesel, and mobile because those are the biggest one. Others I don't give. Here they are mentioned like that. See, you have to give that correctly. Whatever you are giving, you should give correctly.
So what I do, they trying to not able to give exact details or difficult to compile. I give a disclosure that the number of items, the rest we have not.
I don't think that is the correct way. According to me, the highest ones should be given. So they should tell which has got the most value. Main item, दो तीन item दे दो. That you can't write. If you write that no record is maintained, then the assessee is gone.
Then considering the complexities of the nature of the it is not practically feasible to maintain the nature. Hence, in absence of record, we are not in position to we give the note.
See, again I am telling you, tax audit report is not a place where the tax auditor is supposed to give his views. Tax auditor is to report only on the basis of his checking. Why he could not do, this is not our duty to write. Why should I take the responsibility? I should write whatever details have been brought before me, that I have done. If I am the auditor, if I am doing 3CB, there may be a question whether there you can, but when we are doing 3CA, 3CD, it is strictly whatever details are being brought before us, that we will do. But we are not supposed to. I have seen that in regard to this 20 small b, that is PF, many chartered accountants, not a small quantity, but many chartered used to give their views that because of this case, since it has been done before the due date of filing of return, nothing is disallowable. Who has asked him to give it? I don't have to show my knowledge there. What I have been asked, I will only write. So here also I will say that why should I defend? If it is not available, we will write it is not available.
Out of the total policy, 100 crores is the fine. 50 crores belong to two shares. Segregated land, a wholesale trade of materials. I really wholesale also. You find that normally 3, 4, 5 items are very costly items. Okay. If you keep that data, it's still better.
Yes,
I am telling you one thing. What the survey says, what the gentleman did, he put the purchase invoices of high quality costly items. Okay, and within 3 hours, he made a stock inventory that survey paper. That gentleman was telling we are having these numerous items, so we can't have, and he made it in 3 hours. From that time, I understood that whenever we say that this is not possible, I will little more exercise over it, and you find in medicine it's quite easy. If the turnover is 100 crores, you find that items they can make a profit. It's the biggest item. And those items will be very costly items. Initial analysis, right? And then you pay a portion and the other portion now automatically take up. But if you blanketly you give, the IPO will do the analysis and that time you will come.
see, the query is like that also. In the case of a trading concern, give quantitative details of principal items of goods traded. So what he is telling, I also tell the 3, 5 items you just write. But whatever you write, that must be correct. Well, that opening balance, purchases and sales and close, that you must be correct. Okay, thank you. So as written, since it has been mentioned in that thing, that two things only I will say. In this year's return, in every return, there is a specific requirement that we have to write what is the due date. That is 31st July or 31st of October, 30th November. And number two, wherever there is any audit report, like for 44 AB or for so when you do that chapter ITR 7 10B, There it is not only the date of the furnishing and all this, you have to give the UDIN. Now this is very important. Why? Because our institute allows us 60 days to generate UDIN. Just think of this, that if the, you know that we have to submit it by 30th September. Now if I think that 29th September I have signed, so I have got up to 28th November, the SSC will die. Because SSC has to file the return by 31st of October. So keep it in mind. Wherever we are doing it, forget about the 60 days. It must be done within 31st of October. That UDIN must be generated by 31st of October. There are certain other items which according to me are not of great importance, only some more details they have asked. So I don't think that in other than the technical glitches that are being fought now by the persons who are trying to file, there is nothing more in the return. I hope that the technical glitches will be clarified within 7 to 10 days. Otherwise, there is no problem. This is number two. And number three, this is also very important for the individuals. Keep in mind that old regime and new regime for the individuals. It is no more only for individuals. This please keep in mind. Up to last year, it was only for individuals and HUF. This year, it is for individuals, HUF, association of persons, and also artificial juridical persons. For all of them, this by default it will be new regime. So please keep this in mind. And if anyone wants to stay in the old regime, then the option has to be exercised. But for individuals and HUF, only in the form it can be ticked if he or she does not have any business or professional income. But if he or she has got any business or professional income, then that form number 10, 10 IAS to be submitted. This is very important. We should keep in our mind. And for professionals, once we exercise the option, then in our lifetime only once we will get the chance to come back to new regime. Or we leave our profession business, then we will be normal.
Come back to old regime.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjay sir, for a very good delivery and discussions on the subject. And now I request C. Asim Prakash to deliver on his subject in second session of this
I
seminar.
have to leave. I will stay for 15 minutes.
I think we don't need any introduction for Asim. So let us start the session. Before that, I request our president, Sri Ashok Maheshwari to please felicitate Asim with a memento and a token of love. Thank you, Asim. And please start your deliberation.
Friends, Asim, I have got some interaction with him, so I want to say something about him. We are filing returns online, and we are getting all the time some problems we are getting. So he is a proper person. Whatever problems, online submission, and you are getting the queries, and you are submitting 154 petitions. Again, the same thing is coming. So he has got, since he was in CPC, he has got the practical exposure. The really normally we Charakunu we come in the practice directly. He is coming from the departmental background. So there is a good thing of him that he has got the practical exposure from the other side of the table. So that way, and he's very thorough. I have got some problems with regarding some filing, and he solved it. So you should, that session should be very interactive, and whatever queries you are having, you should raise it and get the good answers, whatever practical answers he is having, he will share it. Okay, sir.
Good evening to one and all. आ नहीं रहा करण आ रहा ठीक. We had a beautiful deliberation by honorable sir on tax audit. Now we are here to discuss some litigation aspects. बहुत सारी नोटिसेस मार्च में आई होगी जो आपने देखा होगा that all of a sudden our mailbox was flooded with notices from the clients that they are receiving on inside portal. इनसाइड पोर्टल पे जो नोटिसेज आ रही है वो डिपार्टमेंट किस सेक्शन के तहत इशू कर रहा है? क्या डिपार्टमेंट के पास पावर है ऐसा करने का? क्योंकि नोटिस जब भी whenever we are getting notices, the department has to derive power under a certain section under Income Tax Act under which they can issue notice. That we have to understand. As far as the notices on inside portal are concerned, it has got different understanding connotations under Act. One thing is that it is a kind of campaign where they are saying that the department is kind enough. Earlier, what used to happen when the assessment was done, that the department was having the data and information about us, but they were concealing it. When the assessment used to start, then they used to take out all the information on the floor, and then the assessment used to start. But now the department has been kind enough to share this information on the portal, reporting portal, so that you can get an idea that what is the information available in the public domain with the department. What is the source of the information? The source of the information is the SFT, Statement of Financial Transactions, which different stakeholders in our ecosystem file. Those SFTs serve as the information center for the department. What department does is that they extract the information of the SFT, they map it to the PANs, and whatever information is furnished in our ITR, they match it with that, and they find a mismatch. Question is, there are certain elementary questions. What kind of information is being furnished to the department through SFTs? ये हमें पता होना चाहिए कि डिपार्टमेंट के पास ऐसा क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन होता है, कौन ऐसे स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं जो इन्फॉर्मेशन डिस्क्लोज करते हैं डिपार्टमेंट को, उनसे क्या क्या गलती हो सकती है, और whatever information is being disclosed in the SFT, how they are to be taken care of in our ITR so that we do not get these notices. ये होगा फर्स्ट फेज टू अवॉइड लिटिगेशन. आज लिटिगेशन का कारण क्या है? कुछ ऐसी इंफॉर्मेशन द एसएससी इज नॉट प्रोवाइडिंग टू द चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स एट द टाइम ऑफ फाइलिंग ऑफ आईटीआर एंड विच द डिपार्टमेंट ऑलरेडी नोज. इसमें जो मेन स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं वो समझते हैं, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स. हु विल फाइल एसएफटी सर? मार्केट में कौन एक्सपर्ट है जो एसएफटी फाइल कर सकता है? कोई नहीं कर सकता हमारे बिना. We are the ones who file SFTs, be it anyone. रजिस्ट्रार ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी कोई ना कोई सीए कर रहा होगा, बैंक्स कोई ना कोई सीए कर रहा होगा. मोस्ट कॉमन एसएफटी 26QB, इट इज एसएफटी. हु इज फाइलिंग इट? वी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स. सो अल्टीमेटली जब भी आप फ्रस्ट्रेट हो एआईएस और टीआईएस को देख करके, तो यू नो कि डबल इंफॉर्मेशन आ रहा है, ये इंफॉर्मेशन गलत आ रहा है. डीमैट अकाउंट से शेयर एक बार परचेज हुए 2 बार दिख रहा है, एक बार सेल हुआ 2 बार दिख रहा है, एलटीसीजी की हेडिंग गलत है, एसटीसीजी की हेडिंग गलत है. हु आर टू ब्लेम्ड? At maybe not the one sitting here, but behind each and every SFT, in my opinion, some CA is there, sir. because we are the only experts in the market who have that who are that competent enough to file SFT. In my opinion, there can be other professionals also, but in maximum cases, अब समझते हैं एसएफटी का डेटा आता है, एक प्रॉपर्टी परचेज हुई, 26 क्यू भी एक ऐसा एग्जांपल है जो इससे अपने सबको रिलेट कर सकते हैं। 26 क्यू भी एक बहुत नॉर्मल सा फॉर्म है, मल्टीपल बायर्स होते हैं, मल्टीपल सेलर्स होते हैं, वहां पे पॉपअप भी आता है प्रोपोर्शनेट स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यू। हम लोग सर वहां गलती कर देते हैं, फुल भर देते हैं। मैं बता रहा हूं कि आखिर जो इंफॉर्मेशन आता है और जो स्क्रूटनी ट्रिगर होता है उसके कारण क्या है। विल ऑल्सो कम टू दी स्टेप्स कि डिपार्टमेंट के पास क्या स्टेप्स लेने के पावर है, वो कैसे ले सकते हैं। बट एक बेसिक की पहले लिटिगेशन में जाएंगे, वो तो ठीक है, जब होगा तो जाएंगे ही, अवॉइड कैसे कर सकते हैं। तो पहला स्टेप नोटिसेज ऑन इनसाइट पोर्टल को अवॉइड करने का है कि वी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स इन द कैपेसिटी ऑफ फाइलर्स ऑफ एसएफटीज शुड बी वेरी केयरफुल, क्योंकि अब पहले वाली बात नहीं रही कि इंटरेस्ट एक बैंक दे रहा है और उस पर टीडीएस नहीं कटा तो किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ता, ठीक है चलेगा। नाउ इफ दैट इंटरेस्ट इज ऑलरेडी रिफ्लेक्टिंग एंड देयर इज ट्वाइस, आई मीन इट हैज गॉट डबल इफेक्ट, देयर विल बी अ ह्यूज लाइन इन द बैंक इटसेल्फ टू गेट इट करेक्टेड, क्योंकि उसका सीए उसको पुश कर रहा है कि भाई तुम्हारी इंटरेस्ट में 2 बार आ चुकी है, क्या करना है, टैक्स देना है क्या? बोला नहीं सर मेरा तो एक ही एफडी है। Now even the banker has to revise it, and this banker will push his CA to revise it. So whenever we are dealing with SFTs, we are dealing with SFTs. So we have to discuss about the root level, the ones who are filing SFTs, and that is also fortunately, unfortunately, are us only. So at the time of filing SFT, we have to be extremely cautious that whatever information we are furnishing, it has to be in the way it is supposed to, because any mistake at that end will have a far lasting impact. तो पहली बात। दूसरी बात, जब हम रजिस्ट्रार जब ये फाइल करते हैं एसएफटीज तो उसमें एक लिमिट होता है। क्या लिमिट है सर? वो 30 लाख का, 30 या 35 ऐसा है कुछ, 30 लाख का है, 114E। तो 114E को जब आप पढ़ोगे तो एक बहुत कॉमन एसएफटी है जो हम लोग प्राय स्किप कर जाते हैं, फॉर जो सबसे ज्यादा अपने केसेस में एप्लीकेबल होता है, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स, इवन इफ यू आर नॉट एसोसिएटेड विद एनी अदर एसएफटी फाइलर, बट प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी हम सब हैंडल करते हैं। इफ दे आर इशूइंग शेयर्स of 10 lakhs or more, in that case SFT has to be filed, and unfortunately the last date has lapsed. The meter of 500 is already on per day. May was the last date, 30th May. तो ये एक बात ध्यान रखिए कि एज एसएफटी फाइलर, अभी हम लोग ये डिस्कशन सारा एसएफटी फाइलर के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से कर रहे हैं। वी विल नाउ डिस्कस द एंटायर कॉन्सेप्ट फ्रॉम द अदर साइड ऑल्सो, दैट वंस द डेटा इज रिसीव्ड, डिपार्टमेंट प्रोसेसेस इट। There is a section called 135A. This is the governing section. 135A section को पढ़ते हैं. I'll take you to the bare section itself. This is the section. Quite small, but it's not that small. It is the root cause for all the scrutinies right now in the country. Almost. The central government may make a scheme by notification. ये scheme आ चुका है. 33B. So it is referring to different sections from where it is deriving power. Faceless collection of information. The entire concept is of faceless collection of information, which is governed by section 135A. इस section में जो notification आया हम लोग उसको discuss करते हैं. It is called e-verification scheme. This is the mother document for all the notices which are issued on Insight portal. E-verification scheme 2021. It has got the definitions under section 2 of the scheme, where it talks about, whatever the scheme is dealing with, be it the digital signature, electronic record. 2-3 points which I want to highlight in the definition part is email. I mean registered account. Sorry, registered email address. Generally we get confused that which email address the SSC will get the notices. So they have designated it. और आप क्या क्लेम कर सकते हो एज एन एसएससी की सर, क्योंकि जब लिटिगेशन होता है तो दीज थिंग्स पॉप अप कि क्या आपने रजिस्टर्ड मेल आईडी पे नोटिस भेजा, क्या आपने रजिस्टर्ड मोबाइल नंबर पे एसएमएस भेजा. सो दिस इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ रजिस्टर्ड ईमेल एड्रेस. ईमेल एड्रेस अवेलेबल इन द इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फाइलिंग अकाउंट, ईमेल एड्रेस अवेलेबल लास्ट आईटीआर, पैन में जो डाला हुआ है, आधार में जो डाला हुआ है, जो एमसीए की साइट में डाला हुआ है, या जो एसएससी ने खुद से बोला है कि फॉर एनी अदर कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस प्लीज मेल टू मी एट दिस मेल आईडी. अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट डेफिनेशन रजिस्टर्ड मोबाइल नंबर का भी ऐसे ही है, दैट मोबाइल नंबर और द एआर और इन आधार. करेक्ट. इसमें भी है व्हाट इज देयर प्रैक्टिस इन माय ओपिनियन. अगर मेल बाउंस हो जाता है ना, देन दे विल रिजॉर्ट टू समथिंग अदर, क्योंकि जो सबसे रेलिवेंट मेल आईडी है, दैट मेल आईडी इज एट द पोर्टल. We have to understand that income tax department is a person. If at all it is a person, we consider it as a person. And if we are interacting with the person, what is the platform where we interact with the person? Portal. Now, if you have given a certain information on the portal, don't you think that I'm talking in legal sense, that कोर्ट में ऐसी बात होगी कि सर अगर मुझसे इसको बात करनी है, इसने मुझे मेल आईडी दिया, तो डोंट यू थिंक दैट आई शुड convey my whatever notices, I mean address all my notices on that mail id na? Where am I wrong? Now going ahead to look good, डिपार्टमेंट से कि सर चलिए समझते हैं कि यहां से मेल बाउंस हो गया, तभी मैंने मेल कर दिया जो उनके लेटेस्ट आईटीआर में था. क्या कोई मैंने गलती कर दी? वहां से भी मेल बाउंस हो गया तो मैंने उनके पैन वाले मेल पे कर दिया, क्योंकि डिपार्टमेंट को सबसे पहले उसके जुरिस्डिक्शन में जो जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स है उसको करना होगा. करना चाहिए. नाउ सिंस नाउ व्हाट वी आर डिस्कसिंग इज दैट इट हैज टू हैव अ you know digital footprint. We'll have to prove it in the court of law that if the mail was bounced, did you take any further action to comply that mails were sent on these other options available. अगर आपने, क्योंकि अभी जब लिटिगेशन हम लोग हैंडल कर रहे हैं तो एज चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स वी ऑलवेज डील विथ द मटेरियल पार्ट, कि अगर हमसे कोई टैक्स ऑडिट रिपोर्ट मांगता है तो हम इतने भोले हैं कि हम तुरंत दे देते हैं. नाउ बट as far as litigation is concerned, we should act as lawyers. If you are asking me a tax audit report, do you have the authority to ask me tax audit report? है मेरे पास सब, पर तुम्हारी हैसियत है क्या मुझसे मांगने की? Are you authorized to get it? Why should I furnish it to you? What purpose will it serve? Under which section you are asking me? Have you complied with all the prerequisites of that section जो करके आना चाहिए था आपको? जब इतना सवाल पहले हो जाता है तो एक बार समझता है कि मांगना है कि नहीं मांगना है, यार छोड़ दे, इसके बिना भी काम होता है तो कर लेते हैं. तो अपने को सर लिटिगेशन में इस अप्रोच को अपनाना पड़ेगा, फॉर्चुनेटली अनफॉर्चुनेटली, रादर देन कंप्लाइंग विद ऑल द नोटिसेस. अभी तो जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन की नोटिसेज आ रही है या 135A की नोटिस, दे कैन आस्क फॉर एनीथिंग ऑन द प्लेनेट. आप किसी के साथ मिले भी हैं तो बोलते हैं उसका भी एक बार पैन आधार दे दो. बोला सर मिलने से पैन आधार कौन देता है? बोला नहीं नहीं दे दीजिए ना एक बार. आपका कोई वेंडर उसका पैन आधार दे, क्यों दे? ही इज नॉट रेडी. राइट टू प्राइवेसी है इंडिया में. मेरा काम था, वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि एज पर इनकम टैक्स एक्ट क्या रिक्वायरमेंट थी, मैंने वो कंप्लाई किया कि नहीं किया, उसके आधार से तो मेरे को कोई मतलब नहीं था सर. तो थोड़ा सा हम लोगों की जो ग्राउंड्स ऑफ इंटरेक्शन उसको शिफ्ट करना पड़ेगा. क्रेडिट वर्दिनेस, अभी तो सर उसमें तो बीएसटी का इतना बड़ा जजमेंट आया कलकत्ता हाई कोर्ट का, तो उसमें तो टीएस मैंगडम साहब ने उनके लॉर्डशिप नहीं कहा है. ठीक है. सो this is not the sequence, but this has to be understood in a manner that whatever information is within the domain of the income tax department, they will try to first. I will come to that. कि इस ईमेल आईडी को सिर्फ एक डेफिनेशन की तरह मत पढ़िए. अब आपको डिपार्टमेंट का इंटेंट समझ में आ रहा है कि डिपार्टमेंट का इंटेंट क्या है. तो आपको भी डिपार्टमेंट से लड़ने के लिए इसी तरह रहना चाहिए कि भाई यू whatever email IDs you are disclosing, you just try to disclose the relevant mail IDs, because this is the first step. आप बात ही नहीं कर पाओगे तो अल्टीमेटली लिटिगेशन होगा. लिटिगेशन जो इस लेवल पे क्लोज हो सकता था, मैं आपको एग्जांपल दूंगा आगे आने वाले टाइम में, कि व्हेनेवर वी रिसीव अ नोटिस ऑन कैंपेन, ई कैंपेन में जब नोटिस आती है तो उस नोटिस को यू विल गेट द ऑप्शन टू रिकंसाइल द डिफरेंस. होता क्या है, यू मस्ट हैव कम अक्रॉस दीज थिंग्स, that at the time of जब आपको कैंपेन आता है बेसिकली आप सोए रहते हैं, वो आपको आके जगाता है कि भैया इट लुक्स लाइक that you have not disclosed your interest in other sources. I'm giving an example. So you'll feel like नहीं other source तो डाला है. Now we chartered accountants, what we think कि हम बैंक स्टेटमेंट उठाते हैं, उसको तोड़ते हैं, पीएल बनाते हैं, एंड वी मेक श्योर कि जो भी डिटेल्स गया है सारी इनकम इनकॉर्पोरेट हो जाए. We chartered accountants are very good at we make sure that कि there should not be any revenue leakage and there should not be any undue benefit neither to the SSC nor to the department. ये सर हमारा प्रिंसिपल मोटिव रहता है. वी ऑल विल अग्री ऑन दैट पार्ट कि किसी को गलत नुकसान या गलत रूप से फायदा ना पहुंचे. इसके कारण कुछ गलतियां अनजाने में हो जाती है हमसे. पीएल में इंटरेस्ट दिखता है, चूंकि आईटीआर एक आर्टिकल फाइल करता है, वो बीपी से हटाता नहीं है, बीपी से हटा करके उसको अदर सोर्स में नहीं डालता है. सर इज टेकिंग लीव सर. थैंक यू फॉर योर डेलिब्रेशन सर. थैंक यू सर. थैंक यू सर. So what happens कि department has certain expectations कि as per income tax act there are 5 heads of income. This particular income क्योंकि उनके पास सर बैंक ने ऑलरेडी बता रखा है कि 194A में इंटरेस्ट कटा है इनका, वो इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेक्टेड है अदर सोर्स में, एक डेजिग्नेटेड कॉलम है उसके लिए. Why the income is not sitting in that particular column? That AI is already been built. So obviously that column. बोलिए सर. Yes sir. Correct sir. Correct sir. Correct sir. हाँ sir. Now one thing can be acknowledged that even the inside portal is at its infancy stage, development stage. अभी वो stable and mature नहीं हुआ है. But I was quite happy and ecstatic to see the last year the way they have brought out the information and mismatches, and they had also given the platform to reconcile it. उन्होंने क्या पूछा सर, मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि आपके अदर सोर्स में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. देन उसके बगल उन्होंने पूछा कि इफ यू हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्क्लोज दिस इंटरेस्ट गिव मी द कॉलम एंड शेड्यूल. पीएल के किस शेड्यूल में आपने इसको दिखा रखा है. नाउ दे हैव गॉन टू द एक्सटेंट सो दैट अ प्रॉपर रिको कैन बी क्रिएटेड कि मैं मानता हूं कि आपने कोई इनकम लीकेज नहीं हुआ, रेवेन्यू लीकेज नहीं हुआ, बट मुझे आप बताओ कि आपने आईटीआर के किस कॉलम में इसको कवर किया है. इन योर केस इफ यू से दैट dividend which was supposed to be furnished or disclosed in other sources but you have disclosed it in your PL and from PL it is flowing to BP. In that case you can give the details of your PL कि सर मैंने dividend को इस particular column में cover किया है. That is how this has to be done. ठीक है सर. तो इस तरह से सबसे पहली बात कि जब तक डिपार्टमेंट प्यार से बात कर रहा है, मतलब वो ई कैंपेन के नोटिस भेजता है जो कि देखिए देयर हैव बीन सर्टेन डिस्क्रिपेंसीज व्हिच वी हैव कम अक्रॉस, इट वुड बी नाइस ऑफ यू टू रिकंसाइल इट एंड लेट अस नो. ये जो अच्छी भाषा है उसको उन्होंने पोर्टल के माध्यम से बोला है कि इस पोर्टल में आकर के आप बता दो कि आपने इस इनकम को कहां दिखाया है. नाउ व्हाट आर द सिनेरियोज व्हिच कैन कम. फर्स्ट सिनेरियो, डिपार्टमेंट हैज गॉट एन इंफॉर्मेशन, उस इंफॉर्मेशन को उनको वो इंफॉर्मेशन को आईटीआर में नहीं मिला होगा. Then they are asking you to reconcile it. If you reconcile it and still you discover that now yes department is right and there is certain income which was supposed to be disclosed, it has not been disclosed, ऐसा है अगर, and if you have got these notices within due date 31 दिसंबर तक, प्लीज रिवाइज इट. बाद में आए तो आईटीआर यू फाइल करिए सर, 25% में निपट जाएंगे, बाद में 115 बीबीई में चले जाएंगे, मैटर 70-75% का हो जाएगा. I will even tell you that even if the period has lapsed for more than a year, pay 50% and get rid of this headache. Now, question is कि sir क्यों करें ऐसा? Sir, now you are damn sure that the department has got this information. You have not disclosed this information in your ITF. Do you think that you have any ground to escape? अब सवाल यहां पर खत्म नहीं होता है. चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स वी आल्सो कम अक्रॉस सिनेरियोज कि सर आईटीआर यू फाइल करने की अवधि भी समाप्त हो चुकी है, अब क्या करें, एंड वी नो कि ये कार्रवाई होने वाली है। तो इस केस में इफ एट ऑल टैक्स ऑडिट इज एप्लीकेबल, prepare proper tax audit report, prepare proper financials, and upload the tax audit report with the annexures. Are you getting my point? What I'm trying to say? Financial year 19-20 का 20-21 का मैटर है, आईटीआर फाइल नहीं हुई, टैक्स ऑडिट गया नहीं। आपको पता है कि बुक्स में टैक्स ऑडिट एप्लीकेबल है, बुक्स में टैक्स ऑडिट एप्लीकेबल है। डिपार्टमेंट को नाउ योर इंटेंट शुड बी टू कन्वे टू द डिपार्टमेंट दैट व्हाट इज योर इनकम, क्योंकि आपको पता है नोटिस आने वाले 148 खुलने वाला है, हम पहले ही जाके टैक्स ऑडिट रिपोर्ट जमा कर देंगे, and whatever tax is due on my income, I will pay the taxes. Now the department will come up with 148. We have got such and such info from the bank. There was so much sum of credit देंगे, वो 4 करोड़ का आपका क्रेडिट है, everything will be added back since you have not deposited anything. हम तो कुछ कर नहीं सकते, 148 खुलेगा। अब जब ये 148 खुलेगा, now we have a ground, क्योंकि whenever a scrutiny or assessment starts, the first thing what the department wants is that they want to assess the income in some manner also, correct? If we have already filed the ITR, then the income is already freezed, और फिर कुछ नए पॉइंट्स उनको मिलते हैं, उस पर बात होती है। इस केस में हर सभी कुछ नया है, सभी कुछ नया डिपार्टमेंट के लिए। तो यहाँ पे ओनर्स हमारा हो जाता है कि किसी तरह इनकम को हम फ्रीज करके पहले पहुंच जाए, जिससे हमारा इंटेंट दिखेगा कल को लिटिगेशन में, ट्राइब्यूनल में, कि व्हाट इज द इंटेंट ऑफ द एसएससी। तो इनकम तो हम फ्रीज कर नहीं सकते, आईटीआर तो जा नहीं सकता, तो एक माध्यम जो बचा है टैक्स ऑडिट रिपोर्ट, उससे हम डिपार्टमेंट बताएं दिस इज माय इनकम। अब जब डिपार्टमेंट की ये नोटिस आएगी कि वी हैव ये सम ऑफ क्रेडिट है आपके बैंक्स का, एंड व्हाई द एंटायर प्रोसीड्स, एंटायर डिपॉजिट शुड नॉट बी ट्रीटेड एज योर इनकम, बोलेंगे सर एक मिनट, रिटर्न नहीं फाइल हुई, ये गलती है हमारी, टैक्स ऑडिट रिपोर्ट हमने फाइल किया था सर, वहां से इनकम डिराइव करती है हमने, वही इनकम है हमारी। अब क्या है, ऑल ऑफ अ सडन डिपार्टमेंट का जो समेशन का कॉन्सेप्ट था, वो कॉन्सेप्ट अब ये इस पे आ गया कि वेदर टैक्स ऑडिट इज करेक्ट और नॉट। टैक्स ऑडिट को क्वेश्चन कर लेंगे, वो टैक्स ऑडिट तो ऑडिटर ने दिया है, क्या क्वेश्चन करो, आप उससे आइटम निकाल लो, वेरीफाई कर लो, कम से कम एक बड़ा चंक, एक डिस्कशन जो 100% पे हो रहा था वो डिस्कशन तुरंत ही 2% 3% पे हो रहा है, नेट प्रॉफिट पे बात हो रही है। आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? तो ये डिस्कशन बहुत स्मॉल लेवल पे हो रहा है। Now what? Now both the parties are trying to support the income. We are trying to support our income. They are trying to contest our income. This income is not right. But sum of credit summation वाला मैटर तो खत्म हो गया ना। अब बात आती है कि इंटेंट, पेनल्टी में आती है इंटेंट की बात। मतलब सर मैंने तो टैक्स पे कर दिया, आपके बोलने से पहले पे कर दिया था सर, मेरा इंटेंट ही नहीं था, गलती हुई है, आईटीआर नहीं पे हुआ, 234 एबीसी जो लगता है वो भी पे कर दिया, क्या करना है बताओ? आपने ऑप्शन नहीं दिया था, विंडो नहीं था, 148 में विंडो दिया है, फटाक से टैक्स ऑडिट रिपोर्ट और आईटीआर फाइल कर देंगे। ये बोल रहे हैं सर देखिए, जब यहां तक फंसे रहते हैं तो उसमें ये लगता है कि बच कैसे सकते हैं, तो बचने के तरीके हैं कि टैक्स ऑडिट रिपोर्ट जब लग जाती है तो आधी कहानी वहीं खत्म हो जाती है। दूसरी बार टैक्स पेमेंट कर दिया तो मैटर वहां पे 90% हमारे फेवर में आ जाता है। अभी नॉर्मल स्क्रूटनी बन जाती है। नाउ इट कैन नॉट बी, आई मीन द एओ डज नॉट हैव द राइट टू एक्सेस ऑल द पॉइंट्स, एंड द एओ इज आल्सो एट ईज लेवल कि चलो अब कुछ कुछ आइटम्स पे डिस्कस कर लेते हैं, क्योंकि उनको एक बहुत मेजर पॉइंट सेल्स और परचेज से हट जाता है। So this is one way to approach litigation if the returns have not been filed at all and there is no due date to file the ITR. अब तो सर 148 का ऑर्डर हो चुका है, तो ये तो सर आपको उसी टाइम कंटेस्ट करना था, ये 148 रीड विथ 144 हुआ होगा, वी कैन स्टिल कंटेस्ट इट। एक बहुत बड़ी कहानी बनानी पड़ेगी, कहानी बनानी पड़ेगी सर, दैट इज द केस स्पेसिफिक थिंग विच वी कैन डिस्कस लेटर ऑन। यू हैड क्वेश्चन सर? The department does not have the right to go beyond. आप सोर्स बैंक उसकी एफडी है ना 2012-15 तक, 2012 तक तो एफडी है, 13-14 तक, 14 की एफडी मेच्योरिटी दिखा तो बोले इसके ऊपर को, तो इसके ऊपर तो आपको आपके राइट नहीं है पूछने की। एफडी से पैसा आया है सर। पहले समझते हैं कि विच इज द लास्ट ईयर वेयर यू कैन गो डिपार्टमेंट, उस लास्ट ईयर के पहले देख लेते सर ये पैसा कहाँ से है, एफडी से पैसा आया है, इसके बाद तो बात ही खत्म। सो ये है। नाउ कमिंग टू द पॉइंट कि 135A का प्रोसेस क्या होना चाहिए। 135A में देयर आर टाइमलाइंस व्हिच द डिपार्टमेंट विल गिव यू। Now even we have the option to accept the information whatever is there in AIS or TIS. If we accept it, it is fine. If we deny it, or if we try to differ from it, then still it will go back to the person who has filed the SFT. They will give their input कि whether this is correct or not, और उनसे कोई गलती हो गई तो उसको करेक्ट करेंगे। ये पूरे प्रोसेस होने के बाद एक प्रिलिमिनरी वेरिफिकेशन रिपोर्ट होता है, वो एक क्रिएट होगा। अभी आप देखोगे जो भी नोटिस इशू हो रही है 135A में, वो सारी क्रिमिनल एंड इंटेलिजेंस इन्वेस्टिगेशन विंग है। एक नई विंग आई है डिपार्टमेंट माइकर भवन में, आप देखोगे क्रिमिनल एंड इंटेलिजेंस इन्वेस्टिगेशन विंग। कहां से उसकी उत्पत्ति हुई है, फ्रॉम वेयर दे हैव ओरिजिनेटेड, वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड। दिस इज द वेरिफिकेशन फ्रॉम वेयर दे हैव ओरिजिनेटेड। लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड कि डिपार्टमेंट क्या करेगी जब इंफॉर्मेशन उसके पास आएगा। एक पेज क्या है, थोड़ा मुंडेन है, but this is the process. The CIT e-verification is a designation shall collect the information referred to in subparagraph 1 of paragraph 3. ये जो इंफॉर्मेशन है ना सर, इस इंफॉर्मेशन को वो कलेक्ट करेंगे, ये इंफॉर्मेशन जो है, ठीक है। अच्छा, वन इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग, the scheme shall be applicable to exercise the functions referred to in for processing or of the information. ये जो इंफॉर्मेशन कहां से कलेक्ट कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि सेक्शन 135A इज ऑल अबाउट फेसलेस कलेक्शन ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, और उसी के अंतर्गत ये स्कीम आई थी। इस स्कीम में देखिए डायरेक्टर जनरल इनकम टैक्स, इंटेलिजेंस एंड क्रिमिनल इन्वेस्टिगेशन है, उनके पास कोई इंफॉर्मेशन होगी, सीपीसी के कमिश्नर के पास कोई इंफॉर्मेशन होगी, टीडीएस सीपीसी के पास कोई इंफॉर्मेशन होगी, और एनी अदर अथॉरिटी बॉडी और पर्सन, कोई भी व्यक्ति के पास किसी के बारे में भी कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन होगी, उस इंफॉर्मेशन के अंतर्गत 135A की नोटिस जा सकती है। So this is a very powerful clause. Question is how it will happen. CIT verification will collect the information referred, जो उनके पास आएगा वो CIT verification के पास information चला जाएगा। तो जो SFT आ रही है, the principal director general or DGIT systems as they shall make available the information referred to the commissioner income tax verification which was uploaded to the registered account or sent on registered mobile number wherever available of the SSC and not accepted by him. जो भी उन्होंने एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया है, और इन केस वेयर नो रिस्पॉन्स हैज बीन रिसीव्ड फ्रॉम द एसएससी विद इन 90 डेज, 90 दिन के अंतर्गत, विद इन 90 डेज इफ द एसएससी हैज either not accepted or no response has been submitted, in that case it will go to CIT e-verification, or in respect of which no registered email account or mobile number is in record. So this is very important at the time of litigation. If it is proved that कि हमारी पहली मेल आईडी से मेल बाउंस हो गई है, whether the department has taken the pain to send it to the other mail IDs in that order, if at all. If they have not tried to do that, there itself the department is on a back foot. So that has to be seen, that has to be checked. The commissioner shall process the information made available to it for the initial e-verification. The initial e-verification by the CIT shall be through an automated issuance of communication to the source. Source मतलब क्या हुआ? SFT filer. From where the information is received, and the principal director, as the case may be, shall enable such automated communication. तो बेसिकली 90 दिन का समय लैप्स हुआ, उनके पास गया, वो फिर सोर्स के पास गए कि भाई इसने रिस्पांस नहीं दिया है या इसने जमा नहीं किया है, ये आपसे इत्तेफाक नहीं रखता है, देन व्हाट इज द वे आउट? देन आपको तो सर एक ही इंफॉर्मेशन डिस्क्लोज करना है। अच्छा, अनदर elementary question that as far as AIs and TIs are concerned, we have come across this mindset that some way or the other the people try to align their ITR with AIs and TIs. ऐसा नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं करना है। बुक्स किसकी है? हमारी। आईटीआर किसकी है? हमारी। भरोसा किस पे होनी चाहिए हमें? खुद पे। अभी सर ये एआईएस एंड टीआईएस क्या, ये गाइडेंस है। पहले क्या होता था कि देयर हैव बीन इंस्टेंसेस वेयर इवन दिस दे नेवर यूज्ड टू डिस्क्लोज इट टू देयर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स कि उनके पास ये इनकम। आई टेल यू एन इंसिडेंट दैट चार भाई थे, उसमें से बड़ा भाई वाज द वन हु यूज्ड टू टेक इट आई मीन शेयर ऑल द डॉक्यूमेंट्स और फाइलिंग एंड ऑल विद अस। तो अचानक से उनने जो भी डॉक्यूमेंट्स दिया, वी केम अप विथ अ सर्टेन पोस्ट बैंक अकाउंट की ये भी एक पोस्ट सेविंग अकाउंट है, जो आपने इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं दिया हमें। बोला कि ऐसा है ही नहीं सर, हमारे पास कोई पोस्ट ऑफिस सेविंग की अकाउंट ही नहीं है। हम बोले नहीं ऐसा दिख रहा है। बोले किसके नाम से दिख रहा है? मतलब छोटे भाई के नाम से दिख रहा है। बोला ऐसा है ही नहीं। बोले देखिए ये अकाउंट है, पोस्ट ऑफिस का डिटेल्स है, आप निकाल लो अगर आपको समझ में आता है तो। फिर वो गए समझे। अब सर बात उनके बंटवारे तक चली गई। सो एआईएस एंड टीआईएस। नहीं सर, ऑब्जेक्शंस के लिए क्या है कि दैट यू कैन डिनाई इट। नो, यू कैन डिनाई इट, यू हैव ऑल द ऑप्शन नॉट टू एक्सेप्ट इट। उसी के बाद की स्टेप्स हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं कि व्हाट विल हैपन इफ यू डू नॉट एक्सेप्ट इट। यू हैव द ऑप्शन टू डिनाई इट। लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड। Very good. You have not done anything. That is, no response was submitted. For that also you will receive, you have got 90 days in hand. Now what will happen? The CIT e-verification will send it to the SFT filer. They will confirm it through an automated whether this information is correct or not. If at all it still persists, then you will get a notice. ये देखिए सर, अपने आगे बढ़ते हैं, दिखेगा वो सब कुछ. In case where the mismatch between the amount accepted by the SSC and the amount reported by the reporting entity persists, the information after such initial verification shall be run through a risk management strategy laid down with the CBDT, and the information found to be no or low risk, such risk where no further shall be processed for closure. Basically बोलते हैं कि जब उनकी और आपकी बात हो गई सिस्टम के थ्रू ऑटोमेटेड, तो वो एक रिस्क मैनेजमेंट स्ट्रेटेजी रन करेंगे। भाई छोटी मोटी बात है छोड़ो, वो देखेंगे नहीं मैटर बड़ा है तो आगे बढ़ेंगे। ये सर, ये तो सर हाईली कॉन्फिडेंशियल है सर। नहीं सर, मेरे को नहीं पता है। The remaining information shall be transferred electronically by the PDGIT or DGIT system, as the case may be, to the prescribed authority through a process of automated allocation. अभी तक सर समझ गए हम लोग क्या हुआ? अब ये बोलने की जहां पे ये डिफरेंस मटेरियल रिस्क का है, तो ये शेयर करेंगे किससे? प्रेस्क्राइब्ड अथॉरिटी से। ये प्रेस्क्राइब्ड अथॉरिटी कौन है? इस प्रेस्क्राइब्ड अथॉरिटी के लिए उन्होंने एक सर्कुलर निकाला था। ये है सर प्रेस्क्राइब्ड अथॉरिटी। ई वेरिफिकेशन 2021 के संबंध में प्रेस्क्राइब अथॉरिटी कौन है? अथॉराइज डीजीआईटी, डीआईटी एडिशनल डायरेक्टर, ज्वाइंट डायरेक्टर, डिप्टी डायरेक्टर्स, असिस्टेंट डायरेक्टर्स एंड इंस्पेक्टर्स ऑफ टैक्स वर्किंग इन द डायरेक्टरेट ऑफ इनकम टैक्स, इंटेलिजेंस एंड criminal investigation. Wide powers they have got. Right now, whatever information is being processed by the department, and wherever we found any mismatch, they find any mismatch, everything is referred to intelligence and criminal investigation wing. This is not normal investigation wing. They are not the ones who will conduct searches. This is a separate body, इंटेलिजेंस एंड क्रिमिनल इन्वेस्टिगेशन। इनको प्रिस्क्राइब्ड अथॉरिटी बोलते हैं। तो हम लोग जो डिस्कस कर रहे थे यहाँ पे दैट दिस प्रिस्क्राइब्ड अथॉरिटी को वो मिल जाएगा। What will they do? The verification of the information so allocated shall be completed by the prescribed authority in the manner as per the procedure laid down in this regard by the DGIT system with the prior approval of the board. So we are getting the process flow. आपके पास इंफॉर्मेशन आया, आपने कोई जवाब नहीं दिया, 90 दिन का समय मिला, 90 दिन के समय के बाद एसएफटी फाइलर के पास इंफॉर्मेशन चला गया, इफ द डिफरेंस स्टिल परसिस्ट, रिस्क मैनेजमेंट स्ट्रेटजी रन हुई। रिस्क मैनेजमेंट स्ट्रेटजी में लो और नो के बाद उसको खत्म कर दिया जाता है। अगर इफ इट इज ऑफ हाई रिस्क, it still goes further to prescribed authority. It is with the prescribed authority. What will the prescribed authority do? Prescribed authority हमें नोटिस भेजती है। आप देखोगे क्रिमिनल इंटेलिजेंस इन्वेस्टिगेशन विंग ही है जिसकी नोटिस अभी हमें आ रही है सेक्शन 135 ए में अंडर ई वेरिफिकेशन स्कीम। Where will you find it? Portal. What do they do? The verification so allocated shall be completed. The information verified as above shall be sent back electronically in the form of a preliminary verification report. ये क्या करेंगे, आपके पास नोटिस भेजेंगे, आपकी रिप्लाई आएगी, फिर ये एक पीवीआर बनाएंगे, preliminary verification report, कि whether whatever mismatch was there, what is their take on that, whether they are satisfied with the difference. जो आप बोल रहे थे सर कि कैसे पता चलेगा क्या होगा, तो पीवीआर जब बनेगा, जब 135A की नोटिस आएगी आपके पास क्रिमिनल इंटेलिजेंस इन्वेस्टिगेशन विंग की, आप उनसे जाकर मिलिए, उनको बताइए कि क्यों ये डिफरेंस है और वैलिड डिफरेंस है, तो वो एक पीवीआर बनाएंगे. आफ्टर पीवीआर क्या होगा आपके साथ, ये समझना होगा कि आपने अपनी बात रख दी. The information verified as above shall be sent back electronically in the form of PVR to the commissioner. CIT e-verification के पास वो चला जाएगा. The CIT e-verification shall match the PVR with the information in the return. वो आपके रिटर्न से मैच करेगा. Based on the final verification, और एक final verification report बनाएगा, CIT e-verification अब बनाएगा. Based on the final e-verification report, the information found to be low risk. अगर बड़ा रिस्क का मैटर है, low risk का मैटर closed. If it still it is of high risk, तो क्रिमिनल इंटेलिजेंस इन्वेस्टिगेशन के पास मैटर सल्टाने से अगर लगता है कुछ हो जाए तो गलत है. इसका सार ये है कि इफ यू आर अंडर द इंप्रेशन कि एक बार क्रिमिनल इंटेलिजेंस इन्वेस्टिगेशन वालों को हम लोग दे देते हैं अपनी इंफॉर्मेशन सही सही, आई मीन दे देते हैं जो इंफॉर्मेशन है वो, और मैटर खत्म हो जाए, तो मैटर वहां पे खत्म नहीं होगा सर, क्योंकि स्टिल द फाइनल स्टैंड विल बी टेकन बाय CIT verification, and there the final risk management strategy will be run. And still if you fall in the high risk category, then क्या क्या होगा सर आपके पास. If the information referred to in subparagraph 1 pertains to a pending scrutiny statement, it shall be made available. Pending scrutiny से related कोई information है वो jurisdictional या FAO के पास चला जाएगा या JAO के पास चला जाएगा. Does not pertain to a pending scrutiny, it shall be utilized for further necessary action in accordance with the provisions of the act. मतलब स्क्रूटनी के लिए उसको जाओ के पास भेज दिया जाएगा कि भाई ऐसी ऐसी इंफॉर्मेशन मिली है हमें, प्लीज टेक इट अप फॉर स्क्रूटनी. So this is very important. So now as a chartered accountant or as a lawyer, what we have to do is that we have to find fault in this SOP. Whenever a notice will come, we have to find कि भाई आपने क्या गलती की, आपने मुझे समय नहीं दिया 90 दिन का, आपने मुझे नोटिस ही नहीं दिया 90 दिन का, पीवीआर के लिए मेरे पास कोई नोटिस नहीं आया, 135 में इंटेलिजेंस इन्वेस्टिगेशन ने कोई नोटिस नहीं दिया, तो देयर इज अ टर्म कॉल्ड कि राइट टू नेचुरल जस्टिस डिनाई हुआ है हमारे केस में, तो इस बेसिस में ये आप नहीं कर सकते हो. तो दिस इज वन थिंग व्हाट वी कैन डू. इश्यू ऑफ सर्विस ऑफ नोटिस फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ वेरिफिकेशन, नोटिस टू अ पर्सन, जो भी वेरिफिकेशन के लिए देना होता है, आपको रिस्पॉन्स देना होगा प्रोसीजर और फॉर्मेट में जो अलाउड है. पर्सनल अपीयरेंस की जरूरत नहीं है. No person shall be required to appear personally or through AR before the prescribed authority. कोशिश की जाती है लेकिन it is not allowed as per Income Tax Act. Communication exclusively by electronic mode. तो ये एक इंपॉर्टेंट सेक्शन है सर, जब भी हम इसमें डिस्कस करते हैं, इसमें देखिए बहुत सारे सेक्शंस की बात की गई है. विल डिस्कस दो सेक्शंस एज वेल, की सेक्शन 133 की बात हुई है 135 में. इसमें क्या हो सकता है, पावर टू कॉल फॉर इंफॉर्मेशन. तो बेसिकली ये एक इंफॉर्मेशन कलेक्टिंग सेक्शन है, किस किस सेक्शन आप इंफॉर्मेशन कलेक्ट कर सकते हो. 133 में इंफॉर्मेशन कलेक्ट किया जा सकता है, 133B ये सेक्शन जिसमें इंफॉर्मेशन कलेक्ट किया जा सकता है, जिसमें आपकी बिल्डिंग में आ सकते हैं ड्यूरिंग ऑफिस आवर्स. Then 133C is there, 134 is there. So question is कि अगर if you receive such notices, whatever scenarios we could have discussed, we discussed it कि अगर आप initial stage में हो, 90 दिन वाले stage में हो, the best way is to close the entire thing at that stage. You reply to it, you whatever information you have to give, you give it to it. If you do not, then you will have to go to PVR, जहाँ पे आपके प्रिलिमिनरी वेरिफिकेशन रिपोर्ट होगी. अगर आप वहां भी नहीं रिप्लाई करते हो, देन अल्टीमेटली आपकी स्क्रूटनी ट्रिगर हो जाएगी. माय क्वेश्चन टू यू इज दैट a basic question, that can an assessment happen under section 148 without pursuing assessment under section 148A? अभी तक तो सर मार्केट में इंप्रेशन यही है कि 148A होगा पहले, फिर 148 होगा अंडर न्यू असेसमेंट स्कीम. My question to you is that can it happen that assessment straight away starts with 148? There is no 148A. What are the scenarios? Search survey. यही समझे. 135A. 135A is a section where the straight away assessment starts with 148. How it can happen, sir? Let us see 148A. 148A says कि provided that the provisions of this section shall not apply in a case where proviso clause D, the AO has received any information of the scheme notified under section 135A. लास्ट वाला प्रोसेस याद है क्या था उसमें? CIT ई वेरिफिकेशन क्या करेगा? इंफॉर्मेशन किसको भेजेगा? AO को 135A में. Now what can AO do? AO will straight away 148 कर सकता है क्योंकि 148A में लिखा हुआ है कि 140 if the information received under section 135A then there is no need to proceed under section 148A. You can also read 148. This is 148. What does it talk about? The definition of information. Any information made available to the AO under the scheme notified under section 135A. So straight away the notice can be issued under section 135, 148. I'll show you a kind of notices. Just excuse me for the name. I could not remove the name of the SSC. This is the approval under section 151 of the CIT. Issue of notice in section 148 where there is no requirement for passing under section 148 AD. ये देखिए order है 148 की बात कर रहा है. I have gone through the proposal and I am full agreement with the view of the JAO that it is a case for notice under section 148. This is the finding of the AO. AO क्या कहता है? Request of prior approval जो भी है बंदे का नाम. The case has been received on Insight portal. ये सर एक नोटिस है डिपार्टमेंट की, कोई concocted document नहीं है. Stability notification number e-verification scheme को रेफर कर रहा है, बोल रहा था केस has been received inside portal under the e-verification scheme 135A. accordingly high risk cases का उन्होंने किया है, PVR देखा है, e-verification has matched the PVR, फिर value at risk was high, PVR estimating ये आईडी उन्होंने दी है इस स्कीम की. SSC has filed ITR 3. The business income of the SSC is this. Details of physical inspection. As per AIS information, the SSC has deposited so much of amount as the SSC is non-responsive in nature. Therefore, the issue remained unverified in spite of sending email for 3 times. अब सर इसको लेकर के हम लड़ेंगे. 3 बार जो ईमेल भेजे कहाँ भेजे सर? डिजिटल फुटप्रिंट है उसका, तो भेजिए मेरे को, देखते हैं. एज वेल सर्विस ऑफ नोटिस बाय स्पीड, ये सब लिख देता है सर. डिपार्टमेंट भी केस सताने के लिए ऐसा लिख देता है बहुत बार. फैक्चुअली दिट इज नॉट राइट. ये हम लोग जब आगे बढ़ते हैं लिटिगेशन में तो सब कुछ मंगवाते हैं कि आपने जो लिखा है प्लीज शो इट. However, bank statement has been obtained from the bank. The turnover does not commensurate with cash deposit. Given the above facts, undersigned has the information 135A में. Therefore, your approval is being sought. Any information, ये देखिए clause D की बात कर रहा है. If approval as sought above is granted, the undersigned shall be deemed to have information suggesting that the SSC's income chargeable tax has escaped assessment as per stability notification notifying the eviction scheme and view of the this 148A क्या clause D की बात कर रहा है. The AO is not required to issue notice in section 148A. तो 148 में straight away initiate कर रहा. Further it is submitted that in this case the AO has information as discussed above in his position that reveals income has an escaped assessment. So this is their submission. So please get used to such notices if you are not complying with e-verification notices. पहले तो लगेगा कि नोटिस ही गलत है, स्टेट ए 148 कैसे कर सकता है? ऐसा नहीं है. वो अपने दायरे में काम कर रहा है, उसके पास इतना हक है, अधिकार है. Whatever rights they have, we have come across all the rights what an AO has, which sections they are following, under which section they derive this authority and power. So this is not wrong whatever they are saying. Yes sir. Correct sir. अगर टैक्स रिपोर्ट एप्लीकेबल है, टैक्स एप्लीकेबल है तो वो कर देना चाहिए. यस सर. तो टैक्स पेमेंट कर देना चाहिए. करेक्ट, दैट इज ऑल्सो डूएबल. he will not process it, but what purpose it will serve is that at the time of assessment we can put it on record. Intent. हम
प्रोसिक्यूशन बच जाएगा, बाकी बच्चे नहीं लेते वाला प्रोसिक्यूशन बचाना भारी है। तो मान लो सेकंड केस चला गया, अगर रिटर्न चला गया तो इसका नोटिस आ गया और आपको मालूम पड़ेगा कि हाँ तो गए फंस गया, तब हम क्या करें? मान लो रिटर्न गया हुआ है और रिवाइज फाइल करने का टाइम चला, तो टैक्स केस टैक्स जमा किया। अभी हम लोग केस किया, हमने क्या किया, उसका रिवाइज का अपना रिपोर्ट बनाया और फाइल कराया तो बोले भैया तो सारा फिक्स चेक कर ले रहा है।
हाँ, और उसके बाद 139(8
और करके और उसका जमा दिया, टैक्स पेमेंट किया, जमा दे दिया। अब हम लोग उसको रिप्लाई देने जाएंगे, अभी अब रिप्लाई देंगे तो जैसा आप इसको समझ जाना चाहिए मेरे जो पीसीआई ये क्यों आई, द हाई डिपॉजिट कैश है ना, हमारे देश में हाई डिपॉजिट कैश और इलेक्शन का पीरियड में वो लोग क्या किया, जहाँ जहाँ बहुत ज्यादा कैश डिपॉजिट वाला उसको ट्रैक किया था,
they have done it.
तो उसमें गलती हो जाता है, रिटेल वाले का बरोबर ही कैश जमा होता है, कोई दिन किसी तरह से एक पैसे को छूट दिया, तो ये गलती होता है, जीएसटी वाला का तो भर देता है और एग्जेम्प्टेड है उसको जोड़ता नहीं है, ऐसे ही विचित्र होता है। वो सोचता है कि खाली कोई जीएसटी वाला बेचारा वही मेरा कार्ड होगा है, अलग बैंक अकाउंट रखने से क्या हो जाएगा, कितना पड़ेगा। तो इस तरह से आपको
कर देना चाहिए। बिल्कुल।
आपको जो चीज में आपका टैक्स है क्या
अभी मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस में ये भी देखें कि जो कैश डिपॉजिट्स के केसेस आ रहे हैं 135A में, उसमें मेनली जीएसटी का डिफरेंस है। व्हाट दे आर डूइंग इज दैट कि 1 करोड़ 18 लाख अगर अपना कैश डिपॉजिट है बैंक में, इफ आई एम डूइंग एवरीथिंग थ्रू कैश, then and if I'm depositing it in my bank, then obviously my PL will be hit with 1 crore and not 1 crore 18 lakhs. And now they are picking it up and finding a mismatch of 18 lakhs, that this 18 lakh has not been considered in your ITR, so please give your submission in this regard. So that is quite evident, and prima facie it is there that this case is of that only, that what has happened, that the entire difference is owing to GST, output GST, that they are not considering somehow. So that is one thing where that has to be kept in mind कि बहुत सारे केसेस अभी नोटिस आएगी बिकॉज ऑफ जीएसटी। वो मेन मिसमैच अगर आप देखोगे तो उस पार्टी का जो 18% 5% का है, तो उसका जीएसटी का डिफरेंस ऑब्वियसली इट विल बी देयर, तो दैट हैज टू बी अंडरस्टूड। डिपार्टमेंट की थोड़ी सी अकाउंट्स वीक रहती है सर। हाँ, डिपार्टमेंट का थोड़ा सा अकाउंट्स का इशू रहता है, बहुत बार पीएल में भी वो फिक्स एसेट पूछता है। So the jurisdictional officer has the right to reject it and not accept it, and he can proceed with whatever information he has. अब उसके मतलब it is at his mercy whether he will accept it or not. These things, whatever my answer to this is that कि जब आपकी नींद खुले लिटिगेशन में, तभी अपने रिप्लाई जमा करने लगो, क्योंकि अभी हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, अभी हम लोग असेसमेंट स्टेज में, प्री असेसमेंट स्टेज है 135 है, जमा कर दो, असेसमेंट खुलेगा, नेक्स्ट सर जमा किए थे 148 में तक भी नहीं उठे, 148 चल रहा है, लास्ट में उठे फिर भी जमा कर दो, नहीं उठे अपील में जमा कर दो, ट्राइब्यूनल में जाते जाते सर बहुत लेट हो जाते हैं। ट्राइब्यूनल में ये देखता है कि वेदर यू हैव द माइंडसेट टू कंप्लाई और नॉट, आपकी तो माइंडसेट ही नहीं है। अभी अगर कोई आदमी अपील तक नहीं कंप्लाई करता है तो सर वो कितना गलत है, सोचो 135A जब आपके पोर्टल में इंफॉर्मेशन है आप नहीं कुछ किए, 90 दिन का नोटिस मिला आप कुछ नहीं किए, पीवीआर के टाइम में क्रिमिनल इंटेलिजेंस इन्वेस्टिगेशन आपको नोटिस दिया आप कुछ नहीं किए, उसके बेसिस में 148 खुला फिर भी आप कुछ नहीं किए, अपील की नोटिस गई, तो आप कर क्या रहे थे फिर? तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा सवाल होता है। तो एट लिटिगेशन level, always what we try to do is that we try to show the intent to the adjudicating authority. Yes, sir, we have the intent to comply. There can be mistakes, there can be blunders, there can be errors, but मेरी इच्छा नहीं थी, क्योंकि डिपार्टमेंट वर्क्स ऑन दी मेंस रिया कॉन्सेप्ट, ये गलती आपकी है जब तक आप प्रूफ नहीं हो जाओ इनोसेंट। तो सर मेरी इच्छा नहीं थी, मेरा ऐसे कोई मंशा नहीं थी, ये हो गया है, बट वी हैव दी इंटेंट टू कंप्लाई विद द लॉ। इसके बाद मैटर पेनल्टी बहुत वीक हो जाती है। तो दिस इज माय सबमिशन ऑन द टॉपिक। और कोई सवाल है तो सर? हाँ सर, हाँ सर बोलिए ना। देख लेते हैं सर अभी तो। पिलर टू पोस्ट, रेट ही सस्ता पड़ेगा सर डिपार्टमेंट से तो। I mean, look, there are different kinds of cases, especially cases where which require special attention. वो कभी कभी sideline हो जाता है because of many reasons, that once people are dealing with 10 crores, 15 crores ITR at that level. So obviously they right now they have a kind of they have a reputation to make कि एक दिन में refunds जा रही है, ये जा रही है, वो जा रही है। So ऐसे extraordinary cases ना हमेशा shelf हो जाता है, shelf हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि it talks about numbers। तो एक पर्टिकुलर कैटेगरी में जो नंबर्स ज्यादा रहेंगे उसको पहले वो प्रोसेस करते हैं। रिफंड डिटरमाइन हो गया था, सीपी ग्राम किया क्या आपने? अगर सर आप बोलोगे तो आई कैन जस्ट लुक इनटू इट, समथिंग कैन बी डन। इनकम नहीं मतलब? करेक्ट है देन नो प्रॉब्लम। नहीं, लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड कि इफ यू डू नॉट हैव एनी इनकम यू आर नॉट रिक्वायर्ड टू फाइल द आईटीआर। यू जस्ट हैव टू मेक श्योर कि जब अभी समझिए कि असेसमेंट का जो पर्सपेक्टिव है, पहले क्या था, असेसमेंट का पर्सपेक्टिव ये था कि अब तो नोटिस आ गया, अब क्या होगा, अब तो एडिशन होना ही होना है। अभी ऐसा नहीं है फेसलेस में। फेसलेस में यू विल गेट मेनी पॉजिटिव ऑर्डर्स। खरीद सकते हैं पास्ट इनकम से। She will for sure she will be asked। डिपार्टमेंट नहीं, डिपार्टमेंट पहले समझिए, डिपार्टमेंट आपसे पूछ तो सकते ही है। नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं, डिफेक्टिव की नोटिस कभी नहीं आ सकती, कभी नहीं आ सकती। They do not have any ground to issue defective notice. Your ITR can be picked up for scrutiny and they can ask questions कि भाई 5 लाख के इनकम में 2 करोड़ की बात है, तो फिर 5 लाख करके अगर करते हैं तो 40 साल का मैटर हो जाता है सर, एक नॉर्मल समझते हैं। फिर वो AI रन करेगा, बोला आपकी एज कितनी है, फिर आप गिफ्ट दिखाओ, गिफ्ट डीड आएगा, यही सब होता है ये सब में। तो क्या है कि मैटर तो स्क्रूटनी का हो ही गया, तो स्क्रूटनी के लिए फिट केस है, बट नॉट अ केस फॉर डिफेक्टिव। डिफेक्टिव का कोई और कारण रहा होगा, दे माइट हैव 139 में अभी एक वो आया ना कि कितने की क्या क्या इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल ऑफ 1 लाख, और कहीं वहां पे नहीं फॉल कर रहा होगा। यू हैव टू मेक श्योर कि आपकी एआईएस में कोई इंफॉर्मेशन ऐसा होगा वेयर यू आर सपोज टू फाइल आईटीआर अंडर वन ऑफ दोस सेक्शंस एंड दैट वाज क्वाइट एविडेंट स्पेशल प्रोविजंस में, दैट हैज टू बी चेक्ड। ठीक है, वी कैन टेक इट अप। नहीं, इसमें सर कुछ क्वेरी है, एलटीसीजी पे ले रहा है, एसटीसीजी पे नहीं ले रहा है, ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है। बट दैट नहीं, बट लेना चाहिए मेरे ख्याल से, लेना चाहिए, क्योंकि इसमें लेना चाहिए। हो सकता है सर अभी आईटीआर के लेवल पे उनकी, मुझे जो लग रहा है कि अगर ऐसा कुछ हुआ है तो हो सकता है आईटीआर फाइलिंग के लेवल पे कुछ रूल्स में ग्लिचेस होगा। नहीं नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है। होता क्या सर, आई टेल यू कि जिस हिसाब से अमेंडमेंट्स आ रही है तो वहां पे भी क्या होता है, रूल्स और सिनेरियोज होते हैं। तो जब एक्चुअल वर्ल्ड में सिनेरियो जो आता है वो तो एन नंबर ऑफ सिनेरियो रहता है, लेकिन जब कोई रूल डेवलप होता है तो उसमें क्या होता है, आदमी वहां पे जो भी एक ग्रुप है वो एक सर्टेन नंबर ऑफ सिनेरियो ही सोच सकते हैं। तो वो वहां पे अगर कोई मिस हो जाता है तो बिकॉज ऑफ विच ऐसा आता है, विच दे विल स्टेबलाइज। अगर आईटीआर में नहीं भी दे रहा है ना, तो एट द टाइम ऑफ इंटीमेशन आप बहुत बार देखोगे वो लोग रिबेट दे देते हैं, क्योंकि जब वहां तक बात होती है तब तक बात खुल जाती है, फिर वो बोलते हैं कि भाई अल्टीमेट बेनिफिट तो दे दो, तो वो बेनिफिट मिल जाता है। लेकिन ग्लिचेस है इस बार के आईटीआर, क्योंकि सर पहला कंफ्यूजन है ओल्ड रेजिम न्यू रेजिम का, फिर बहुत सारे ऐसे हैं 87 रिबेट है, तो बहुत सारे ऐसे केसेस हैं जहां पे अभी तो दे हैव बीन गुड इनफ टू गिव यू द ऑप्शन टू सेट ऑफ योर लॉसेस एज पर योर विश। आप लोगों ने देखा नहीं होगा शायद ये। आप देखिए सीवाईएलए में जाकर के, सीवाईएलए में, बीएफएलए में वो ऑप्शन दे रहे हैं कि भाई आपको लॉस कैसे एडजस्ट करना है। पहले ऑप्शन नहीं था, ये बहुत एक लिटिगेटेड मैटर था कि मेरा लॉस, मेरा इनकम, हु आर यू टू डिसाइड द ऑर्डर ऑफ लॉस, सिंस एक्ट हैज नॉट प्रेस्क्राइब्ड इट। मैं तो उस तरह से लॉस को सेट ऑफ करूंगा जो मेरे लिए बेनिफिशियल है। If you have a loss, obviously you'll try to set it off against special income where you're not getting the basic emission limit and those things. ATC नहीं, प्रायोरिटी वाइज वैसे नहीं है सर। सपोज यू हैव अ लॉस फ्रॉम अदर सोर्स, बेसिक लॉस, अदर सोर्स का लॉस सैलरी से भी सेट ऑफ हो सकता है, हो सकता है कैपिटल गेन से भी सेट ऑफ हो सकता है, एज पर एक्ट हो सकता है ना सर। आपकी एटीसी डिडक्शन है, स्पेशल इनकम पे एटीसी नहीं मिलता है, करेक्ट है। और आपका जो सिनेरियो कुछ ऐसा है कि अदर सोर्स को डिपार्टमेंट सैलरी के अगेंस्ट सेट ऑफ कर रहा है और स्पेशल इनकम के अगेंस्ट नहीं कर रहा है, और स्पेशल इनकम जाकर के पार्ट बीटीआई में खड़ा हो जा रहा है, और अल्टीमेटली आपको एटीसी का बेनिफिट नहीं मिल रहा है। आप क्या करोगे? आप बोलोगे नहीं पहले इसको कैपिटल गेन के अगेंस्ट सेट ऑफ करो, सैलरी तो एलिजिबल हो जाएगा एटीसी के लिए। जस्ट अ सिनेरियो। तो सर जब प्रैक्टिकल वर्ल्ड में सिनेरियो आता है तो बहुत डिफरेंट हो जाती है चीजें, और वहां पे जो लोग हैं हो सकता है उस चीज को उसमें फोर्स ही नहीं कर पाए, लेकिन जब सिनेरियो आता है, चीजें एस्केलेट होती है, तो दे विल आल्सो टेक दैट इनटू कंसीडरेशन, बिकॉज ऑफ दैट ओनली दे हैव गिवन दिस ऑप्शन कि भाई आप ही सेट ऑफ कर लो। वही तो डिस्कस कर रहे थे ना, वही तो अभी डिस्कस किया ना, एसटीसीजे में नहीं दे रहा है, एलटीसीजे में दे रहा है, ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है विच शैल बी रिजॉल्व, क्योंकि अभी तो ताजा ताजा आया है, लोग डिस्कस कर रहे हैं अभी ऐसे। नहीं कैसे मिलेगा, यू नॉट एलिजिबल ना, तो इंटीमेशन में उसको भी करेक्ट कर देंगे, जैसे उनके केस में करेक्ट कर, जैसे यूटिलिटी में उनको करेक्ट करेंगे ना, आईटीआर में इंटीमेशन के टाइम है तो आपको भी करेक्ट कर देंगे। तो आप ऐसा मत कि आप अभी एसएससी के नजर में बहुत बढ़िया बन जाइएगा कि हम तो आपको दिलवा दिए। डोंट से एनीथिंग, आप बोले कि देखिए गलत है। whenever in these cases I always tell you, you convey your client whatever is correct as per law, कि देखिए आपको मिलना नहीं चाहिए था बट आपको मिल रहा है, हम लोग रिटर्न फाइल कर दे रहे हैं, लेकिन कल कोई डिमांड आएगा तो डोंट ब्लेम मी, सो दैट नीदर आपके केस में सर आपको तो कहीं भी बोस्ट नहीं करना है, गाली भी नहीं देना, बोस्ट भी नहीं करना, इंटीमेशन में बी टेकन केयर ऑफ। सर इसमें क्या होता है ना, वर्जन्स आता है, अब हर वर्जन में कोई एक रूल क्या होता है ट्रिगर नहीं किया, क्योंकि दिस इज टू टेक्निकल, अब कोई एक रूल ट्रिगर नहीं किया जिसके कारण ये प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है, बहुत सारा फार रीचिंग इफेक्ट है सर। तो एज ए नेशन जो हम लोग देख रहे हैं सर, अभी वन डे रिफंड का कॉन्सेप्ट है कि 2 दिन में आ जाएगा, 3 दिन में आ जाएगा, सेम डे आ जाएगा, तो इसके साथ साथ जब एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी सिनेरियो होता है ना, उसको कैटर नहीं कर पाता सिस्टम, उसके लिए फिर टाइम लगता है। अब किसी का एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी सिनेरियो आ गया, वो उन तक पहुंचता है कि भाई इस तरह के सिनेरियो को आप कैटर नहीं कर पा रहे हो, तो देन दे अगेन इवॉल्व इट कि नहीं भाई इसको भी कैटर करो, क्योंकि इवन फॉर अ सिंगल रिटर्न वी हैव अमेंडेड रूल्स इन सीपीसी सर, आई नो दैट, फॉर अ सिंगल आईटीआर it has to be done. I mean, they cannot say no. अभी 5 में कर रहे हैं आप। ठीक है, ड्रॉप डाउन नहीं है। These are technical glitches. Then you will have to opt for opt भी नहीं होगा। ये लास्ट ईयर का मैटर है क्या? रिटर्न ही नहीं फाइल कर रहे हो आप? तो हैव यू रिटन इट टू योर पीसीआईटी? पीसीआईटी को आपने लिख दिया क्या? सिक्योरिटी चेयरमैन को भी लिख दो आप। रिजॉल्व तो हो जाएगा, बहुत साधारण केस है। आप बोलिए, दे दीजिए मेरे को, देख ले, बहुत बड़ा मैटर नहीं, ड्रॉप डाउन में सिर्फ सेक्शन ऐड करना रहता है। They are not escalating it. Most of the time what happens कि CPC ऐसा नहीं है कि closed है, they do not want to do it, but it's not reaching to them. Yes sir. ASIM @ ALP अहमदाबाद लखनऊ पटना ALP Associates ASSOCIATES.IN 9038 023 295 9038 023 295। हाँ, thank you ma'am. So thank you for giving a patient hearing.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful deliberation. I hope that was not only interactive, that was very informative and knowledgeable. And thank you all the delegates for their presence. I request to have a group photographs to come together with Asim sir. Better, Asim. It's better. It's better. We'll have a tag. Come. We'll join in for a group photograph, please.